the show. A great Thursday afternoon to you. DK on the Sports Tip. I'm David Kelly. JW Madness here. Cricket as well. We've been trying to figure out in the last 10 minutes where exactly Pelle Larsson got drafted to. He's been taken in the second round of the NBA draft. Let's back up. They didn't show the pick on ESPN. They showed about the first maybe 10 picks of the second round, but then they kind of started talking and got away from the deputy commissioner who was the one making the picks in the second round. So Malika Andrews, who's hosting this whole shebang for ESPN, said that Pelle Larsson had been drafted by the Houston Rockets. But then shortly after that, the University of Arizona came out with a tweet that said Pelle Larsson was drafted by the Miami Heat. Neither team, as of about 5 minutes ago, had tweeted anything about their second round picks. JW Madden, though, joins us right now. He believes he has figured it out, or at least gotten to the bottom of the explanation of where Arizona Wildcat /guard Pelle Larsson will be playing in the NBA.
Well, yeah, this pick was, let me make it more complicated, shall I? This pick was the Atlanta Hawks pick, which they traded to the Golden State Warriors, who then traded it to the Houston Rockets, who then selected Pelle Larsson with the 44th pick overall, and now he has been swapped to the Miami Heat. I believe they've swapped those two picks, and we don't actually have the final word on what the actual swap is, but yes, Pelle Larsson is Miami Heat as far as we know.
Which makes it even more confusing because the Heat had the pick right in front of the Rockets at 43, and so...
But they really liked Nikola Djurcic.
Yeah, exactly.
They liked him a lot. So
Nikola Djurcic.
Yep.
Right. So we believe at the moment, although, again, the Miami Heat still have not tweeted anything. They about 57 minutes ago, they tweeted a few more picks until we're on the clock for round two. They have not tweeted anything since almost an hour ago. That's really bizarre that you wouldn't try to put that out right away. But again, it's the NBA draft. It is somewhat bizarre.
Here's the crazy thing, DK. Up until this year, the second round was 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Teams got 2 minutes on the clock. Imagine the craziness going on behind the scenes with the trades, and we're in a commercial break, and 4 players got picked in that amount of time. And now since they've switched to the NFL format of splitting the draft into 2 days, they were allowing teams 4 minutes in between these picks in the second round. So at least it's not quite as crazy as it once was.
Is this good for the NBA draft? I mean, I've watched this thing. I've had it up, and you know, again, granted, they had players. It appears still in New York. It was almost more like they're in a boardroom than like any type of draft hall, because obviously there's no crowd around it. It just seemed a little like, I will say, granted, families were there, but not a lot of excitement to it. I think I'd rather, if I was one of those kids, I'd have rather been home. Yeah, with my people,
like Filipowski.
Yeah. With my people.
I will answer no, it's not good, but it will be. And I'll tell you why. It's because with NIL and college athletes being considered employees, we all envision a near future in the next 2, 3, 4 years, DK, where players stick around in school because they're making $2 or $3 million and they don't have to jump to the NBA to buy their mama house, right? So the reason why nobody really, first of all, the top 5, 10 picks, 4 foreign born players in the top 10. So a lot of players that maybe aren't household names among Americans anyway, which is a big part of the audience we're talking about anyway in this context. I think in the future, first and second rounds may be more exciting because you're going to have more of invested in these players whose names are being called this time of year. As it stands now, it's a lot of guys who maybe went over and played for the G League Ignite for a year or only spent maybe 4 months in college before they jumped ship. That kind of situation I think you're going to see go away, and you'll see more names that we know being drafted here in the first and second rounds.
There are about 5 picks left. Keyshawn Johnson is still on the board. We've come to learn that now is actually a very interesting time in the NBA draft behind the scenes, because really what's happening now is as players are leveraging not to get drafted to maybe land where they want to land at this point.
TJ didn't get drafted, and he got signed to a contract with the Sixers the second the draft ended.
Right.
Like, all of that was already going on behind the scenes. So as soon as TJ McConnell did not get drafted, the Sixers signed him to that summer league situation. I'm hearing rumors behind the scenes that LeBron's bestie is telling everybody, Rich, right? That's his name.
Well, the Lakers are up in 2 picks, so that's going to be very interesting.
Everybody not to draft Bronny, because if they do, he'll choose to go play overseas or go play in Australia or something. They're just saying flat out, don't draft him at this point. And so
then do we believe the Lakers are going to draft him with 55, or are they going to sign him as a free agent?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Either way. Or what you just said. I mean, we've got 5 picks left in the draft, and then at that point, now obviously there's much more prestige from having your name be listed in the annals of being drafted in the NBA draft. And does TJ McConnell care right now that he wasn't drafted?
I don't think so.
No, he doesn't, because he found his way into the league and
Played
he's stuck.
How many, 9 years?
Yeah,
is it 9
something
years
like
now?
that. And he's going to get a 4-year contract here coming up. So it doesn't matter, really. It doesn't matter if you're drafted or not. What matters is your longevity and how, if you can get that first, second, third contract.
But he's a rarity in that. I mean, there have not been Gilbert, or just a few. I mean, there's been a lot of second-round Wildcats.
Right.
Not a lot of guys that have stuck in the league. Obviously, Gilbert is the exception. I mean, he was I believe, the only second-round guy that turned into an all-star.
He was a bad interview who showed up late to meetings. So, like a big reason why Gilbert fell so far was just off-court stuff. It didn't have really much of anything to do with his ability to put the ball in the bucket. Everybody saw that he could do that. He fell quite a bit just because of how he personally handled the draft process.
So I wonder if they'll go back to the deputy commissioner for that 55th pick. They have not been really doing much with him, but it's so highly anticipated. 4 minutes now. The Celtics were on the clock. They've made their pick. Now all eyes are on Los Angeles with about 3.5 minutes left for them to put their pick in. There's people talking. We're watching the screen right now, so it's going to be fun to kind of watch and see if this is indeed.
They're all smiling.
LeBron James Jr. Like they look like they're doing a whole lot of work about nothing. You know, it's like hey, we don't know what we're doing.
Hey,
here.
JJ Redick, don't draft LeBron James's son, who he's claimed publicly he'd like to play and become the first ever professional basketball player to play with his son in a actual sanctioned game.
So it's the Lakers, and then the Nuggets, and then the Grizzlies, and then looks like the Timberwolves, I believe, have the final pick, the final 4 picks in this draft. So we will wait here about 2 minutes and 50 seconds to see what the Lakers do. Again, it's interesting. We were talking yesterday. We were kind of looking at the ratings as they were through CBS Sports. They had Keyshawn Johnson rated higher than Pelle Larsson, but ESPN, looking at their board today, they actually had Pelle Larsson ranked higher than Keyshawn Johnson. Surprised by that at all?
I mean, I think they both have skills that apply to the NBA and question marks, both of them. So they both fall in that category. Like Keyshawn, for instance, is a power forward with long arms, but really not the height. He does have the athleticism to make up for that. But if he's going to try to play that position, you're going to go against who? Anthony Davis, right? Like, think about the NBA and what that means to play that spot. If you're not a knockdown three-point shooter, which he's developing his outside shot, that's the question with Keyshawn. Pelle Larsson, again, it may just be a simple matter of measurables, for all we know, of what they're looking for in those spots. I'm not surprised that different publications have different rankings for the players from the same team. Let me put it that way. I think a lot of people see the landscape of the NBA and just think of different needs for different teams because it's been ever evolving these last, I would say, 10 years. It's so much more open, so much more focused on jump shooting. You mentioned the Lakers, DK, and whether or not they're going to draft Bronny. As far as I'm concerned,
they're clapping about something.
The only surprise there in the first round was Dalton Knecht at 17. I cannot believe he fell that far. I mean, they already lucked out with that. So.
Yeah, so there's a lot of clapping, a lot of hugging, a lot of handshaking going on in El Segundo, California at the moment as the pick is in, and we will await to find out right now You'll hear it here live on Wildcats Radio 1290.
so
the Lakers are going to select with the 55th, the most anticipated 55th pick ever.
Let me just give paint a picture for the listeners if you aren't seeing this, but the entire war room for the Lakers stood up, shook hands, and laughed and clapped and hugged each other. So we could probably assume they're making one of their players happy with this pick.
We'll see. The pick is in. Again, Bronny James right now listed as is the rated 6th in terms of who's best available
It's
left.
official.
I believe Keyshot is actually listed higher than him in terms of best available. But
it's official.
It's official now.
I'm looking at it on the screen from the official site, and Bronny James
selected
selected 55th
went back
overall.
They went back to the deputy commissioner here, and he is in fact saying that it's going to be LeBron James Jr. is the pick, the guard out of USC for the Los Angeles Lakers. No surprise at all.
I feel in all this what's lost, I feel bad for Bronny James because I think the whole spectacle of his father being the leading scorer in the history of the league, being one among the top 2-3 players of all time and all those things, and having him publicly state he'd like to play with his son, there's really not been much talk about Bronny James as a prospect. Right, it's just really who's going to draft this kid to maybe lure his Hall of Fame father to come play with us. And so we'll see. I think Bronny James, unfortunately, with that heart condition, didn't really get to show all that much at USC while he was there. He certainly wasn't 100%. I'm curious to see what he can evolve into if he's got that heart to really put that work in to get to that next level. Or you're going to be a bit of a footnote laughingstock if this is just maybe like, look, Bronny's in for 2-3 years, gets to play with his dad, puts up terrible numbers, doesn't get a second contract, and is out of the NBA, right? Like, that would be a horrible end to this story. I'm rooting for him. I don't root for LeBron James openly, DK. I'm rooting for Bronny James to make a career of himself.
So we can talk about that today, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. You know, this is vastly different. We kind of mentioned in one of the comparisons, obviously the comparison that this has been categorized as very similar, and the Suns now are on the clock. So we will let you know what they're going to do here at number 56. The Suns picking yesterday, they picked Ryan Dunn. You are going to hear from Ryan Dunn coming up today. We'll hear from him. Also, you'll hear from James Jones on the selection of Ryan Dunn. They traded the pick. That was our question of the day. Yesterday, would the Suns trade the pick? And they did indeed trade the pick. In fact, let's wrap up that question of the day from yesterday. We'll give you the final results on it. The question was indeed if the Suns would trade that pick because of what owner Matt Ishbia has always talked about, that, you know, first-round picks are for collateral. They're for collateral to bring in established players. Now, obviously, that they did not necessarily trade the pick to bring in an established player, but they did trade the pick. They moved a little bit down, and they took Ryan Dunn versus, obviously, the young man that they actually took and then spun to the Denver Nuggets, who we had a chance to see in the NCAA tournament. And what a great story that would have been had Darren Holmes stayed with the Suns, a Phoenix kid drafted by the Suns.
Yeah, born in Goodyear.
Yeah.
So this is a native Arizonan, and we saw play with Dayton there in the NCAA tournament. But my question to you, DK, which hasn't been brought up, is Zeke Naji, question mark? I mean, because more or less, I mean, Zeke Naji and Deron Holmes are kind of the same type of guy. Yeah. And so Zeke Naji, you keep bringing up what's Zeke Naji's future and what's his future potentially with the Nuggets the past year. If you're looking at the Nuggets swapping picks with the Suns to pick up Deron Holmes II, he's quite similar, kind of an Obi Toppin. That's why he went to Dayton. He was a big Obi Toppin fan, a very athletic 6'10" guy. So good pickup for the Nuggets. We'll see how it works out for the Suns.
Kevin McCullough Jr. is the selection for the Phoenix Suns in round number 2. He is a 6 foot, 206-pound small forward. He played his college ball at Kansas. We'll get more into Kevin McCullough Jr. We are hoping to actually bring you live on the show. We'll when the Suns do have their press conference with James Jones. We hope to maybe be able to bring that to you as well live here today on Wildcats Radio 1290 DK on the Sports Tip. So hang here. Lots of basketball talk. We want to hear from you on some of these picks, what you thought, especially the Ryan Dunn pick for the Suns in the first round. Bronny James taken by the Lakers. Zach Edey gets picked by the Grizzlies. 3 Colorado Buffaloes taken off the board before there was an Arizona Wildcat.
Hey, we
How about
said that. We said that pregame of the Colorado game, both Colorado games this year, DK, was that if that team was at full strength and they had we talked about KJ Simpson, KJ. Well, those other 2 guys who got drafted in the top 15 were both injured for that first game, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, Da Silva killed them forever. Cody Williams has been at the top of so many draft boards, so I'm not super surprised to see those 3 Colorado Buffaloes come off the board.
We'll get into all that. It's DK on the Sports Tip. Right now, though, cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. Collision Tangerine near Oracle reported on Tangerine near Oracle for a crash. And also, we do have road work that's continuing. Midtown, Grant Road near Dodge Boulevard. Eastbound and westbound, Grant Road near Dodge Boulevard, just west of the intersection. Travel down to 1 lane. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic.
This report is sponsored by KFC. The new taste of KFC deals are meals starting at just $4.99. Grab a hot, juicy drum and thigh, a buttery biscuit, and creamy mashed potatoes with gravy. Only at KFC. It's finger licking good. Prices and participation vary. Tax, tip, and fees extra.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
So I wore my fancy new Christmas boots that my wife got me.
Ow, it don't hurt.
Got a cramp. See?
Gotta stretch before you do that.
Oh, my hip.
Stop trying to do crazy gymnastics in the studio.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
You are paying too much for gas because you're paying for gas. Why pay for gas when you can pay for a new Blazer EV at O'Reilly Chevrolet and save $7,500 right off the top? That's just where the savings start. So use your electronic phone and go to O'Reilly.com and see them all in person on Broadway next to Park Place Mall, or call 747-8000. Trade up and trade in and put gas in your rearview mirror. See us today at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Rumble is on a mission to give people the freedom to be entertained. Join Rumble and enjoy exclusive content from creators who are empowered to express themselves freely. Visit rumble.com or download the app and watch for free.
Time for the hot weather polar bear promise. Alaskan AC arrives in 1 day or your repair is free.
Wait, say that again?
We arrive in 1 day or your repair is free?
Again, but longer on the A.
We arrive in 1 day
or your repair is free. Hear it?
No. Alaskan AC, service guarantee. We arrive in 1 day
or your repair is free. By George, he's got it. With the Alaskan AC service guarantee, we arrive in 1 day or your repair is free.
Are we really doing this?
That's awesome, Gary. With Alaskan AC service guarantee,
we arrive in 1 day or your repair is free.
We should probably
sing with us, William.
I would really rather.
Come on.
I don't want to.
Chicken bok bok.
Guys, no.
It's catchy.
Do it.
Sing out, Louise.
Fine.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in 1 day or your repair is free. Whoa.
Whoa is right.
Can we get back to work now?
Schedule anytime at AlaskanAC.com.
Incredible.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-859-3220. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 to 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-859-3220. That's 800-859-3220 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. 800-859-3220.
I'm Kathleen Wynne, Republican for Congress against Juan Ciscomani. Juan promised to stand up for taxpayers and stop Joe Biden's radical left agenda. Instead, Ciscomani betrayed Arizona taxpayers by voting for Biden's spending, Biden's debt, and Biden's agenda. Even though the Republicans had the votes to stop him, Ciscomani funded Planned Parenthood, coddling illegal alien invaders, wokeness in the military and schools, and even sex change operations on minors. Juan Ciscomani endorsed Chris Christie for president, and when Christie dropped out, Ciscomani endorsed Nikki Haley. I'm Kathleen Wynne, Republican for Congress. I support President Trump, and I approve this ad. Congress needs strong conservatives who will stand up and fight the left, not give them everything they want, because that's what Juan Ciscomani has done. It's time Republicans fight back and stand strong for what we believe. I'm Kathleen Wynne, Republican for Congress, and I ask for your vote in the July Republican primary, paid for by Win for Arizona.
Wildcats Radio 1290 is everywhere. Wildcats fans can listen to us everywhere on our all-new app.
Now available from the Google Play Store and the App Store for iPhone users.
The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
NBA Draft Round 2 today. Wrapping up, we want to hear from you. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Pelle Larsson is a Miami Heat, a Heatle, as they like to say. He was drafted by the Rockets, but spun over to Miami in a pick swap. Let's see if either team has said anything about this at all yet. It's very strange. The Heat still have not tweeted anything in the last hour about their second round pick, and neither, it appears, have the Rockets. The last thing that came from the Rockets was 4 hours ago when they were interviewing fans at a draft party from last night. So I don't either. That's really strange that none of
DK, have you not learned that social media is not about giving information out to people anymore? It's just about sensationalization.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
you want to promote what you're doing, and apparently they just have chosen not to do that in the second round here for whatever reason that is.
So there's one pick left. Keyshawn's still on the board, and if he did get picked by this final team, it would be a perfect fit because it's the Dallas Mavericks. And as far as like a defense, what they're looking for on that team that just made the finals is defense and outside shooting.
So we just mentioned that the Lakers have taken Bronny James in the second round. They also got a pretty decent pick in the first round. Dalton Neck, that's the young man out of Tennessee who a lot of people thought would go higher.
I think he's the most NBA ready guy, and the reason is he's 23. Like he was in a smaller college situation for a long time, sat out for a bit, but didn't he have something like 7 consecutive 40-point games this year? I mean, he was a first-team All-American. He's a knockdown, especially mid-range guy. And if you talk about pairing him, we talk about what the Lakers' needs are. Now, I'll preface this by saying I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm not trying to solve their problems, obviously. But when you look at what they have on their roster, DK, and having J.J. Redick coming in, who's clearly a guy who's going to try to get more 4-out sets and get a lot of wide-open corner threes would be my guess of his style. You couldn't have picked a better guy to come into that. That's an NBA-ready guy from day one who can come in and put up anywhere from 12 to 25 points. That's who he is.
Out of suburban Denver, Colorado, you mentioned he played in a small school, played at Northern Colorado for 2 seasons before spending his this past year, at the University of Tennessee. And Rob Pelinka, the general manager of the Lakers, glad to have him.
We would have never imagined a player as skilled and sort of perfect for our needs would be there for us as Dalton Connect. We had him, as a top 10 player unanimously across our scouting boards. I was at the SEC tournament scouting him extensively, and in my mind was like, there's no way a player like this could be available for us to pick on draft night. So across the board, just couldn't be happier. I was joking with Coach Redick upstairs that we found a movement shooter to match his skills as a player, and he was already had his whiteboard out, drawing up pin downs and ATOs and actions where he could run a movement shooter off screen. So I think his mind is already working on drawing up plays for Dalton.
That is Rob Pelinka. You mentioned his scoring prowess. He had a stretch of games starting in early January. 28, 36, 39, 25, 32, and 31.
Yeah.
So he's a guy that can definitely fill it up, and most of those games were
big
in-conference SEC
and
games.
big opponents. Like, if you look at the opponents that he played in some of those games, DK, I mean, those were some big-time. He stepped up in big moments, which tells you that he's ready for anybody who's who's the leading scorer in the country, one of the leading scorers in the country, playing in a tough division, playing against other tough teams, DK, who puts up consistent numbers against those tough teams. That's an NBA-ready guy.
The pick is in for the Dallas Mavericks. We will let you know if that pick is indeed the guy that you think it's going to be. If it's going to be Keyshawn Johnson, the deputy commissioner is at the podium right now. And who's it going to be, Mr. Deputy Commissioner? What's this guy's name? Do you know that off the top of your head?
I don't, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I should. Rod Thorne, wasn't it? Forever?
Exactly.
I just remember Rod Thorne going up there.
His name is not Rod Thorne for sure. But
the pick is not Keyshawn Johnson.
No.
It is a guy from Germany named Ariel Huckporty.
Okay, there you go. Ariel Huckporty. So we'll have to wait and find out if it's a free agent opportunity for Keyshawn Johnson after he goes undrafted here. Only one Wildcat selected, and that is Pelle Larsson by the Houston Rockets, and then flipped over to the Miami Heat. Now, last night, speaking of flipping, we told you that the Suns flipped their pick. They took Deron Holmes out of Phoenix, who played at Dayton. We saw him in the postseason. Talked a lot about him before that game, the opening round game between the Wildcats and the Flyers. They took him at 22, held on to him until the Nuggets got down to number 28. And in fact, the Nuggets took a player that the Suns wanted because the deal was already done. So they selected Ryan Dunn, no pun intended, and then those two players were swapped. Darren Holmes to the Nuggets, Ryan Dunn sent over to the Phoenix Suns. Let's hear from James Jones, the general manager of the Suns, last night on the move to get Ryan Dunn.
We came into the game to the draft with a couple of objectives. We wanted to get more athletic. Defensively on the perimeter, we wanted to add some size and some youth. And I thought that we were able to do two things tonight: get the player that we wanted, moving back, and pick up other assets and capital for the future to continue to allow us to have more resources to build the team for the long term.
Next up is Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports, followed by Brendan Mao.
Hey, James, good to be speaking with you tonight. I was curious with Dunn specifically with the numbers for him shooting at Virginia. I was wondering during the workout process what you guys saw to have some faith in him as a shooter long term, because as we know, the defensive potential for him is pretty large.
No, he's improving, and what he was asked to do at Virginia was to defend, and he relied on his athleticism. The shooting isn't where he wanted it to be, or where we think it will be in a few years. But he's an impactful player, and great players find a way to impact the game, not just with the offensive box score. And so I'm confident with our staff, with Bud, our coaches, that will allow him, or he'll be primed to improve as a shooter. And if he can do that and do it quickly, I think we found a gem.
When you look at Dunn as a defender, what you guys dealt with McDaniels last year in the playoffs from the Timberwolves, you see similarities in terms of him being able to be that kind of impact on that end, the way McDaniels was for the T-Wolves? No,
I mean, he's different. I think you have to give Jalen McDaniels. I mean, you got to give McDaniels credit. He's about 6'9", a crazy, tenacious defender who's had an opportunity to really grow. But I see a ton of potential in Ryan. I think for him, he's a little bit shorter, and I think that'll allow him to navigate screens a lot better as a younger player. But if that's where he progresses to, that's the goal for us, to have an elite lockdown defender, or at least someone that can take the challenge every day and make it extremely difficult on the opponent's best scorer.
I don't know if you saw the much of the video, but this kid can definitely defend.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a big kid, but he's a shot blocker. He's got tremendous shot blocking skills.
Yeah, he's 6'6". I mean, so that's big enough, I think, to defend some wings. But my question to you, DK, is how fast does a young defender out of college improve their ability to defend at that level? When you're talking about Devin Booker, Beal, I mean, I don't think KD is going to be in front of him too often, but just Beal and Booker in the offseason or in practice or whatever, going up against, we talk about how much more Ballo developed going against Christian Coloco every day in practice for a year sitting out. Ryan Dunn's got some offense. There's some really good offensive shooting guards / small forwards on the Suns. So certainly he'll be tested early.
Well, obviously, yesterday, a lot of the rumors that were going around was whether the Suns might be in the trade market. Would Kevin Durant potentially be a guy they might look to move if the right deal came along? James Jones was asked what he thought of all those trade rumors surrounding Kevin Durant.
Nothing. I mean, it's the question, it's the topic of discussion, it's the stuff that gets clicks and that everyone wants to talk about. But I think I said it specifically back on May 19th when I was asked, are we trading Kevin Durant? I said no then, I'll say no now. I'll continue to get asked the question. But that's the NBA. That's what makes the NBA and the draft and everything around it, the offseason. That's what makes it interesting for the fans. So I get it and understand it, and I don't take it personally. We just keep moving, committed to building this team and winning a championship.
And there's a new coach in town, Mike Budenholzer, hired to take over this Suns team. Jones on working with Budenholzer and also followed on, the relationship right now, what the status of the relationship with Kevin Durant is.
I've enjoyed. I mean, Bud's been awesome. I've always had a ton of respect for Bud as a competitor, but now being able to sit on this side of it, I truly see why he's one of the NBA's best coaches and why he's had so much success. He loves it. He loves everything about it, and he loves his guys. And so the passion that he has for it, you can't fake it. And then with KD, it's all love. It's all good. Like having a chance to work with one of the all-time greatest players, and the success that we'll have going forward, it's what you live for. It's what you embrace and what you want. So, like I said, really excited about the team that we're building, upstairs, downstairs, and everywhere in between, and just looking forward to the season.
All right, and they've added again. They've added to that today with their second-round pick, have the Suns. We anticipate we'll hear more from James Jones. That was from his press conference last night. We are anticipating he will talk again here now that the draft has concluded. Kevin McCullough Jr. out of Kansas was the second-round pick. He's a small forward. Has dealt with some injuries kind of towards the tail end of his playing career. But an opportunity now for him to come into the NBA and show what he can do. So we'll get James Jones's thoughts on that and the two players that they got, and maybe we might even find out how true. Getty just talked about the Kevin Durant rumors right there. How true some of the talks were about whether or not they were in the Bronny James mix as well.
It's such a that is a reach and a half to draft Bronny James with the hopes that maybe next year LeBron will come to play for your franchise. I do want to, really quick before we go to break, DK, Keyshawn Johnson did not get drafted.
Right.
Let me give you a list of some of the names of people who didn't get drafted in the NBA. Ben Wallace, four-time All-NBA, four-time Defensive Player of the Year, should I say.
Yeah.
He went undrafted. Connie Hawkins didn't get drafted. John Starks didn't get drafted. Bruce Brown, remember him causing chaos with the Spurs for so long. Udonis Haslem, believe it or not, who just ended his 25-year career with the Miami Heat, went undrafted. Fred VanVleet went undrafted.
Yeah.
Right? And that was very recently. So, Avery Johnson, everybody remembers him with the Spurs. A long list of players. Jose Calderon, JJ Barea, guys like that. Just because you did not get drafted, Keyshawn is considered right now as the best prospect who didn't get drafted. So there's no doubt in anybody's mind that he will make a roster. He will be on a summer league roster somewhere. And all it takes is, showing the right skill set to the right people, DK, and he'll be on a roster day one.
Let's hope so. It'd be good to see him at least get that opportunity, get into Summer League, which starts here in a couple of weeks out in Vegas, and have an opportunity to show NBA executives and scouts what he can do and what his potential might be at this next level. 520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. We're going to talk much more NBA as we move along today and hear from the Suns. Again, we'll hear from James Jones, the Suns GM, on the totality of the Suns draft as well. Hopefully, maybe if we get a chance to hear from Pelle Larsson, maybe we'll try to bring that to you too. It's DK on the Sports Tip. JW Madden is here. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it is Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Valencia, right between 6th Avenue and 12th Avenue, serious collision occurred. Westbound Valencia is closed west of 6th Avenue due to that wreck. Other crashes that are clearing at Pima and Swan, and also Golf Links and Swan. 82 is the low, 103 with a 15% chance of rain tomorrow, and about 105 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Cricket, did you know that you had a World Cup?
Straight. We're going to have a super over.
Is that like soccer?
I don't understand any of it. I don't understand the terminology. I don't understand. Left-armed seamer, can you believe it or not? He caught a slip.
You don't want to catch a slip.
I don't know what any of those
That's
things
not good at all.
But congrats to the USA for defeating Pakistan.
Yeah, I like the left-hand seamer, though. That sounds like a good thing.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Time for the hot weather polar bear promise. Alaskan AC arrives in 1 day or your repair is free.
Wait, say that again?
We arrive in 1 day or your repair is free?
Again, but longer on the A.
We arrive in 1 day
or your repair is free. Hear it?
No.
Alaskan AC, service guarantee. We arrive in 1 day
or your repair is free. By George, he's got it. With the Alaskan AC service guarantee, we arrive in 1 day or your repair is free.
Are we really doing this?
That's awesome, Gary. With Alaskan AC service guarantee,
we arrive in 1 day or your repair is free.
We should probably
sing with us, William.
I would really rather.
Come on.
I don't want to.
Chicken bok bok.
Guys, no.
It's catchy.
Do it.
Sing out, Louise.
Fine.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in 1 day or your repair is free. Whoa.
Whoa is right.
Can we get back to work now?
Schedule anytime at AlaskanAC.com.
Incredible.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-410-6744. 800-410-6744. 800-410-6744.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
I'm Kathleen Wynne, Republican for Congress against Juan Ciscomani. I was honored to meet with President Trump and support his re-election this month when he came to Arizona. And Juan Ciscomani boycotted the rally. But is anyone shocked? Juan Ciscomani is a never-Trumper rhino who endorsed Chris Christie for president. And when Christie dropped out, endorse Nikki Haley. I'm Kathleen Wynne, and I'm running against Juan Ciscomani. Southern Arizona needs a bold and strong conservative voice to defend our borders, fight wokeness, stop the spending, stop the debt, protect small business, and always put taxpayers first. It's time to stop and reverse the Biden agenda, not vote for it, enable it, and fund it as Ciscomani does repeatedly. Because Juan Ciscomani is too weak and too timid to fight for us. I'm Kathleen Wynne, Republican for Congress, and I approve this message because Congress needs a conservative change. Paid for by Wynne for Arizona.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SCORE for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SCORE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SCORE.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. The question of the day yesterday was, with Suns owner Matt Ishbia and company, as they'd indicated, NBA draft picks best used as collateral to get experienced players, would they trade the team's number one pick at 22? They did just that yesterday. 100% of the voters in our poll figured that they would. And that's indeed what they did last night, to have an opportunity to trade down and get Ryan Dunn, the defender, out of the Virginia Cavaliers program. We are now hearing, courtesy of NBA insider Shams Charania, that it appears that not only is Pelle Larsson headed to Miami to be a Heatle, but so is Keyshawn Johnson on a two-way contract to Miami. So both Wildcats in the draft process this year will be playing with the Miami Heat. That'll be a fun summer league to see those guys together here in Las Vegas in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I really like that landing spot for both those guys. Clearly, the Heat under Spo and Butler and their entire Heat culture is really just about playing 100%, with your hair on fire at all times. And I've never seen Pella or Keyshawn Johnson ever take a playoff. They're both known as defensive first players, which is what they're going to need to do in that style. Both are capable. I think Pelle Larsson's always been a very good outside shooter. The question is if he might defer a little bit too much and not take shots when he might need to. Other than that, Keyshawn's clearly working on that side of his game. That's really the aspect of both their games that they need to solidify to maintain a spot within the league. But being able to defend at that level, there's going to be some growing pains. Don't get me wrong, because staying in front of Ja Morant is not like staying in front of the point guard from, no disrespect, but any team that Arizona played this year. Just to finish up the Phoenix trade, they got the 56th pick in this draft, the second round in 2026 and 2031. So they basically went down, 4 picks?
Yeah, to get some assets.
They traded down 4 picks, and they picked up 3 second-round picks as a result.
Zachary Richare was the first pick yesterday by the Atlanta Hawks. He was from France. Alex Zar was the second pick. He was from France. French ball players taken, 3 French ball players taken in the first 6 picks of the draft. That's 5 now in the lottery from France in the last 2 years. I'd love to just see how those 5 guys play something together on the international level. That would be fun with Victor Wembanyama right in the middle of all of that. That's going to mean, again, the French international team, if they all do get together, is going to be fun to watch here in the near future.
Think of this year, DK, let alone like 4 years from now, but this year you're going to see Rudy Gobert as center and Wembanyama as power forward? Like on this year's Olympic roster? I mean, France has some serious talent coming through the pipeline. France and Canada. We've heard a lot about Argentina, Spain, a lot of these international teams that have had success. Australia has obviously been very good over the course of the past 10, 15, 20 years. But, yeah, Canada, I put money on Canada and France as being in that conversation to be among the top 5 teams internationally here on out.
A lot of players who the Arizona Wildcats saw this season drafted. A lot of players that you all saw this year drafted. Zach Edey taken number 9 out of Purdue by the Memphis Grizzlies. And right after that, it was the first of 3 Colorado Buffaloes selected.
Boswell down, open look at the 3. It's short off the rim. Rebound, tip, throw it down to Williams on a breakaway to the bucket. Jam it home.
Cody Williams taken in the number 10 selection. He was drafted by the Utah Jazz.
I also have Zach Edey highlights.
Yes.
High post, it will go to Gillis. Throw it inside for Edey. Turn around, off balance shot is good. Boy, that shows Zach Edey at his best there. Really thrown off by the defense, but still got it to go inbounds for Purdue. Runner by Lawyer missed. Edey, the offensive rebound, and lays it in.
So there you go. Zach Edey at 9. Purdue beat Arizona. Cody Williams at 10. Didn't play at McHale Center. That was unfortunate. Would have loved to have seen him. Did play, obviously, in the second meeting in Colorado, in which the Wildcats,
the first one was like
Wildcats
40.
blew them out.
I think the first game in McHale was like a 40-point win, and I think they won by 20, in Boulder.
We mentioned Dalton Connect taken at 17 out of Tennessee by the Lakers, and right after him, it was Tristan Da Silva.
Under 3 to go in the first half. Buffalo's trying to make a run here. They're down by 10. Da Silva for 3. That's good.
Yeah, transition 3. Da Silva's filling a little bit, trying to reel his team here.
He was taken by the Orlando Magic with the 18th pick. I'm trying to, the way that I'm looking at this on ESPN, I have to remember all my logos because that's how they identify.
It's dumb. It's really dumb. Don't get me started.
It's like, I'm like trying to remember what logo is that, and they're so small you can barely see them. 2 picks later, it was the Cavaliers. My Cavaliers taking Jalen Tyson out of California.
Out top, handed to Amack. Back inside Tyson. Nice play, and he slams it home for 2. And a steal by Tyson. Lays it up good, and he's fouled by Johnson. So Jalen Tyson, who had 1 basket in the first half, their leading scorer, has scored 9 points here in the second half.
So Jalen Tyson will head on up to the North Coast and put on the wine and gold, as we like to call it. Trade in his blue and gold for the wine and gold. Looking forward to seeing him out of Plano, Texas. And again, like we said, spent just the 1 year at California. Well-traveled Jalen Thompson. This is actually going to be his 4th team in 4 years. He started at Texas, and he went to Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Then he went to California.
Yep.
Now he's going to be in Cleveland. So
you didn't even talk about that team hiring a new coach yet.
No, that's right. Kenny Atkinson, the former leader for the Brooklyn Nets.
Yesterday. He's been on the Warriors staff, right, for a long time, and he's been doing the summer league stuff for Coach Kerr. So clearly, what do you think about that? I mean, I'm not sure exactly what kind of style Kenny Atkinson's going to run out there in Cleveland, but it couldn't be Warrior style because there's so many bigs that they rely on, right? In that system, obviously Mobley's got to be at the center of what they're trying to do. And obviously keeping Mitchell is first and foremost.
First and foremost, you got to get Donovan back in to the fold.
I saw a clip that said Davion Mitchell got traded because he was the one out of Baylor from a couple of years ago, and I had to do a double take because I was like, I thought we might have some things to talk about on the show today.
So we mentioned Darren Holmes the second. We saw him play a little bit this year as well. That pretty much wrapped up in terms. Obviously, Isaiah Collier. We saw him. He was taken at number 29 by also the Utah Jazz.
Fired over to Collier. He's going to throw up a 3, and it's good for Isaiah Collier. Collier, 33% shooter outside. Trojans will get that shot clock well under 10 before they look to score. Here's Collier, left of the lane. Stops there, step back, jumper up, good, and he's fouled, and Pello will foul out.
Now, watching Isaiah Collier, especially in that second game, before the tournament game, the second to last game of the season, You could see every bit why he was the number one recruit in high school coming out. But what if I told you, DK, that he is the lowest drafted number one ranked high school player in 51 years?
Really?
Yes, that's the lowest.
Wow.
A guy ranked think about it, like Zion, LeBron. These are the guys get ranked number one in high school.
Yeah.
And with the one and done era of 1 year removed from high school, you'll usually see those guys right at the top of the draft board. Collier drafted much lower. Yeah, 51 years is what I read is the last time someone ranked number one in high school fell that low in the draft.
Heading to the second round, Kyle Filipowski, saw him earlier in the year with Duke. He was taken with the second pick in the second round, also by the Utah Jazz. So that's 3 guys we saw taken by the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, not only that, but he was the first guy to ever do the green room to not get drafted, to have to do the walk of shame out of the green room, because this is the first year they've split the draft in from 2 days.
Yeah.
So in the past, if you got invited to the draft and you didn't get picked in the first round, your name was going to get called somewhere in the first 10 picks of the second round.
Yeah.
But he had to do the walk and get cameras on him because he was the only guy in the green room who didn't get picked.
That stinks. Tyler Kolek, who we talked a lot about yesterday, thought maybe that could be a Suns pick if they went with the point guard. He was taken by the Portland Trailblazers, the guard out of Marquette. I don't know if you saw the story that came out on him last night. Apparently, he did not do very well in the Wonderlic. I guess
from Marquette.
Didn't score well on that.
I've heard of a lot of athletes who struggled.
So Tyler Kolek going to the Portland Trailblazers. Then with the 39th overall pick, the Memphis Grizzlies took Jalen Wells out of Washington State.
We remember him.
Yes, too much.
Off the front of the rim. Rebound tipped out to Rice. 3-on-1. Ahead to Wells to the bucket. Laid up and good. Picked up by Johnson. Trying to cross him over. Rice fire at top. Wells deep. 3 straight away is good. 15 on the shot clock. Rice, top of the key. Shoots a 3 to tie it. Back of the rim. Off, no good. Rebound battle for Yakumovsky's got it for Washington State. Left corner. Wells for 3. It's good. And he's fouled.
Don't foul the three-point shooter up 3.
Yeah, don't. Ooh, that was key shot too, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
27 points in that upset for the Cougars at McHale Center.
That was a 6th three-pointer, I think.
By Jalen Wells. Yeah, he shot the lights out that day for sure. And again, that almost cost. We thought that might have been the loss that might cost the Wildcats a chance to win the regular season title. But they were able to rebound and get it done down the stretch. Also taken out of UCLA just 2 picks later, Adem Bona.
Leave it high for Bona. Trying to find Andrews. He can't shake Larson right now. So Bona's just going to drive right down to the lane and slam it home.
Yeah, Bona, just one of the best athletes in the Pac-12 there, driving from the top of the key. Ballo can't foul. Two-handed dunk.
I don't know how good Adem Bona will be in the pros, but what I do know is that without Adem Bona on that Bruins team last year, they could have won 5 games.
Yeah.
That was a bad UCLA Bruins team, and Adem Bona, I remember the game here, it was remember the game here, they doubled him on the first 6 possessions, and uncharacteristically, a 26% three-point shooting Bruins team knocked down all of their outside shots as a result of those doubles. But in the second matchup, Adem Bona was the only force. You remember he got slightly injured and came back and all that, but yeah, he's really good.
What were they down 19, I think, in the first half against the Bruins in that game?
Yep.
At McHale Center.
Yeah.
With the very next pick at number 42 overall, it was the Charlotte Hornets. I'm still reading these logos. The Charlotte Hornets taking KJ Simpson.
KJ Simpson off to a outstanding season here. Drives it to the left of the lane. Open jumpers up and good for 2. So Simpson starts things out. He's number 2 and gives the Buffaloes a 2-0 lead. Out to Hadley. Steps up to the free throw line. Doesn't shoot. Back out to Simpson. 6 on the shot clock. Simpson into the lane. Turnaround. Fadeaway is up and good. Simpson hesitates. Drives to the bucket and lays it in.
Yeah, KJ Simpson so shifty with that basketball off that middle pick and roll.
Runner-up, right, for Player of the Year?
Yeah, a guy who also could have been an Arizona Wildcat had things maybe gone another direction, but went to Colorado and really, he was a guy that maybe didn't have the best first year there, but really flourished this past season, and they showed him. He was there, one of the guys that was in the boardroom today with his mom and dad. A lot of tears there for him to have this opportunity to go into the to the National Basketball Association. So congratulations to him. Harrison Ingram, we didn't see him last year, but we did see him for 2 years with the Stanford Cardinal. He was selected a few picks after that, down at 48 by the Spurs out of North Carolina. He transferred to North Carolina this past season. And, of course, Bronny James, who got his first collegiate start against the Wildcats at McHale Center this past year. Kevin Durant was in the house.
Yep.
His mom was in the house. That was a pretty interesting night to see him out there and get a chance to play.
Remembering that game, like they had both their starting backcourt were injured, right? And so Bronny James got in, and I remember his energy and effort that he brought in that first 10 minutes, DK, of his first start. Showed me a lot. Like it didn't matter. A lot of times it doesn't matter if a young player's knocking down a lot of outside shots. What matters is how lost you get on defense. Are you getting spun around? Are you boxing guys out? Are you understanding passing lanes? Are you finding, outlet passes at the right moments, that kind of thing? And Bronny James showed me just in that game, because we hadn't really seen him much, but that first start here, McHale, he stepped up, and we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, you talked about the injuries. Obviously, Isaiah Collier was one of the guys missing that night, so we didn't get to see him this year. And we didn't get to see Cody Williams this year. So there's a couple of guys on that list we just went through that were hurt and didn't play when those teams came through Tucson.
Another guy to note really quick was Jamal Sheed from Houston. He was voted today, I believe, as the Big 12, maybe yesterday, Big 12 male athlete of the year. He went there late in the second round as well.
All right.
Had that injury, like obviously way late in the season. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he was out for the NCAA tournament, which is why Houston had only 3 losses, I think 4 losses to that point. And unfortunately, he went down the last week of the regular season.
All right. Much more coming up. We can talk more NBA draft. Get your thoughts. Want to hear what you think about the player that your team selected, whether that team is the Phoenix Suns, whether you are a fan of the Memphis Grizzlies, whether you're a fan of the Miami Heat. And now there's 2 Arizona Wildcats headed down there to be Heatles. 520-848-1290. It's DK on the Sports Tip. The 5 o'clock hour is next. JW Madness here. Cricket is here. My name is David Kelly, and you're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Valencia west of 6th Avenue, serious collision occurred there. Westbound Valencia west of 6th Avenue, it is closed. You could use maybe either Bilby, perhaps even Drexel or Irvington instead. Other collisions, Golf Links and Swan, and also Pima and Swan. Overnight, the expected low around 82, 103 with a 15% chance of rain tomorrow, and 105 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's July 4th sale is your chance to get matched with your coolest Z's yet. Save $500 on Tempur-Breeze mattresses with free and fast delivery. All night cooling, all summer long. Discover the difference the right bed makes. Restrictions apply.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. If you're driving right now, you may not be thinking about your tires, but chances are they've been tested before. Like that time you swerved to avoid the stray shopping cart that rolled into the street from nowhere? Or when you had a green light but did some extreme braking because another driver decided to turn left in front of you. And we've all had to navigate monsoon downpours that turned our streets into Arizona's largest slip and slide. At Jack Furrier's, we've helped Arizona drivers navigate these extreme moments for over 60 years with the right tires, the best deal, and a huge in-stock selection of the brands you trust. And now's the time to save big with the most rebates we've seen all year on the brands you love, like Michelin, Cooper, and Uniroyal tires, with up to $100 back all month long. And Jack Furrier cardholders get back another $30. Check out jackfurriers.com for details on all our sizzling summer savings. So for all those critical moments where your tires make the difference, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
We get you so close to the action at McHale, it feels like Wilbur and Wilma are in the car with you. This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
Good news, everybody. We stay on the air with you for an extra 2 hours after every Arizona football and men's basketball game all season long. That's why we are the home of the Wildcats. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Attention. If your teen or preteen is or has been addicted to Instagram, Snapchat, or TikTok and been treated for eating disorders, body image issues, anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, you may be eligible to participate in a lawsuit for significant compensation. Text SOCIAL to 323232 for more information. Disclosures by multiple Facebook whistleblowers suggest Instagram knows their social media platforms are highly addictive and cause eating disorders, body image issues, depression, and suicidal ideation, but have done little to stop it. If your family has been impacted by social media addiction, you could be eligible for significant compensation. Text SOCIAL to 323232 if you'd like to discuss a lawsuit. Text SOCIAL to 323232. Text the word SOCIAL to 323232.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Motley Rice, attorney Jennifer Guy is responsible for this ad. Motley Rice, LLC is headquartered at 28 Bridgeside Boulevard, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, 29464.
This is Zach Gelb with the Sports Minute, sponsored by Big Machine Records and Petty Country, a country celebration of Tom Petty. I had 3 reactions to the first round of the NBA draft. Minnesota won the first round by trading for Rod Dillingham and also landing Terrence Shannon Jr. I was shocked that Zach Edey was taken 9th by the Grizzlies, but I actually loved the pick. Finally, I couldn't believe that Dalton Connect wasn't a lottery pick, and the Lakers got an absolute steal with the SEC Player of the Year going at 17. I'm Zach Gelb.
Petty Country, a country music celebration of Tom Petty, bringing the top talent in country and Americana music together to create a 20-song tribute to Petty's dynamic musical legacy, including Chris Stapleton, Luke Combs, Thomas Rhett, Dierks Bentley, George Strait, Carly Pearce, Dolly Parton, Willie Nelson, Lainey Wilson, Winona, and more. With a southern accent. Petty Country, out now, sponsored by Big Machine Records.
July 4th doorbusters are here at Lowe's, so don't miss your chance for big summer savings. Right now, save $30 on a Project Source 18-inch sink bathroom vanity. Was $129, now just $99. And save $10 on a Never Kink 50-foot hose. Was $29.98, now just $19.98. Hurry, these deals won't last long because Lowe's knows savings. Offers valid through 7/1. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket, getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Hour number 2 on this Thursday. Glad you could be with us. Want to hear from you. NBA draft has wrapped up. Now we've got the NHL awards happening in, looks like Las Vegas.
I just looked up and some
tonight.
lady was screaming at me.
Some lady. Was
well, they got some
singing?
kind of music going on to like introduce before the NHL awards. Yeah.
We got the NHL awards happening tonight. We've got the big debate tonight between the 2 presidential candidates, the 2 old men trying to run this country.
So what,
Joseph Biden and Donald Trump. I still don't know how we got two old men.
What's the drinking game?
Trying to run this country. There's a drinking game.
I think there's millions of different styles of drinking games. And I'm question is, what is the drinking game?
Please tell me a drinking game that I can partake in tonight while I sit through that.
I think, well, you have to do it. You have to be fair and balanced and be equal on both sides. So it has to be one for the other. So I think anytime there's more than a 1 or 2 second pause for President Biden, you have to take a drink.
Okay.
And anytime there's a elevated level of vocals, how about like to the point of yelling from Donald Trump?
What are their isms? I'm trying to think of Trump and Biden isms, like things that they constantly say.
Not gonna do it. Yeah, there were so many from back in the Reagan and Bush eras.
We'll take your calls and tweets on that. Do
we really want to do that though?
Give us some isms, like something that Biden, President Joe Biden, normally says that he'll say tonight that we can lob into a drinking game on that, and something that Donald Trump, the former president, will say that we can lob into.
It's tricky. You got to bear in mind because you're not trying to alcohol poison people, so you got to make the drinking.
To get real drunk off this.
Well, the drinking game can't be one which will be occurring every 3 seconds because then you're going to kill people out there. So it has to be something that's semi-obscure, but definitely will happen enough.
520-848-1290 if you want to get in on that today. Bronny James selected by the Lakers. You know, it's interesting. We've been talking about this, and the biggest comparison, we haven't had this ever happened in the NBA. Now, granted, he hasn't played a game in the NBA yet, but the potential is that at some point, even if he got just called up to play in a few minutes, that he and LeBron are going to play on the floor together. We haven't had anything like this in professional sports since Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. Back in the 1990s.
Yeah, I remember that.
But that was totally different. It was almost the flip of what this is, because Junior was considered to be, I mean, Ken Griffey Sr., don't get me wrong, great major leaguer.
In my mind, like Ken Griffey Sr. made 4 or 5 All-Star games.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good
Ken
player.
Griffey Jr. made an All-Star game every single year he's in the league, because we all heard a junior coming out of high school.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
When he was, I think I first read about Junior at 15 or 16 when he was in high school. So Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, the exact opposite, where the son really is the higher profile player, whereas in this instance, it's the dad who's the higher profile player. So it got me thinking, if we were to see this, I mean, again, I don't know if I think basketball is a sport where you could potentially see this because of the fact that it's a sport where you're going to have a longer career. You're never going to see a great NFL player play with his son. I think that would be almost impossible.
It is impossible
unless
because
it was a quarterback.
Well, yeah, there you go.
He had a kid very young.
We've had quarterbacks very recently play into their 43s when Brady retired. So yeah, I mean, you could see that, but not a running back, certainly.
But is there even a possible equivalent to a star? And again, LeBron is so far above that because, again, we talked about this. We had this question of the day, and you hear it in a promo every day on our station. The Hall of Fame player who has the son that's next.
Tiger.
Tiger Woods, we've talked about. Charlie Woods is potentially on that level. But is there a basketball player? I mean, again, LeBron James Jr., I don't know that he's ever going to ascend to that level. And I'm comparing it to who's that Ken Griffey Jr., that can't miss kid coming up that could be the son of an NBA player. I think,
we've seen it.
Could it, and I don't know if we want to put Gilbert Arenas for the lack of the conversation because he's an Arizona Wildcat.
Right.
But he was a multi-time All-Star as well. I don't know how good his kid is.
We've seen it, though, in not too long ago, and I'll throw some names out for you, but Henry Bibby played in the NBA, but Mike was a much more highly thought-of player coming out.
But I'm talking about that could play together.
No, none of them could play together. Yeah, honestly, that's never happened before. But just as far as the legacy of the father creating an environment by where their offspring had better opportunities, Steph and Seth are good examples of that. I mean, Del Curry was a great shooter with the Charlotte Hornets. I remember watching him a lot in the 80s and 90s, but Steph's the greatest shooter of all time. What about Kobe?
Yeah.
Jelly Bean Bryant, his dad played in the NBA, but Kobe was a can't miss prospect. But you have to talk about a guy who had a child at a relatively young age
and came in at a relatively
and they came in at a relatively young
right.
age and had a longevity to their
Exactly.
career. So all those factors have to come together.
Exactly. So I don't know that there's another player that came in right out of high school, because of course I think LeBron might have been in that group of kids, the last kids who could come right out of high school,
right in that area,
into the NBA. I don't know that there's, but even a one and done, I don't know that there's a one and done who had a kid early enough that could even be in that position 5 to 6 to 10 years down the road. So we're about to see something we've never seen in professional basketball, and we may never see, or who knows when we'll have an opportunity to see a star player play with his son in the NBA again.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia page of the NBA players, fathers and sons, who both played in the NBA, and it already says LeBron James, Bronny James, asterisks, set to be the first father-son duo to play in the NBA together. This has already been edited within the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's already edited saying that they're already ready to play together, yeah.
It's going to be fun to watch. Going to be fun to watch for sure. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program, 520-848-1290. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We will, shortly here, we're coming up in the next segment, we'll dive in to your Diamondbacks. My goodness, they did not play well last night, and they did not play well today, as they got that win in the first game of the series against the Minnesota Twins, but the last two games did not go well whatsoever. And today was a complete disaster.
Before we get into that negative, we ended last segment at the top of last hour giving some highlights of all the U of A opponents that were drafted in this past NBA draft.
Right.
But we didn't neglect to give highlights for the 2 U of A players who were drafted. So let's do that really quick before we get to it.
Okay.
Here's some highlights of Keyshawn Johnson, undrafted, but he signed a 2-way contract with the Heat.
Bounce pass to Johnson, down the lane, his shot up and good. Second bucket for Keyshawn Johnson, and the Wildcats now go up 8-2 just like that. Boswell will drive, no look for Johnson. Keyshawn slams home 2 more. And Keyshawn Johnson now with 11 points to lead the Wildcats. And Walker around a high screen, hesitates, drives on Johnson, blocked, out of bounds by Keyshawn. Stayed with him defensively. An inbound stolen away by Keyshawn Johnson on a breakaway. He'll go to the bucket and slam it down with the windmill.
Kicks up top, Love. An up fake, a drive, a bounce to Johnson, an up fake on Filipowski. He scores, and he was fouled. Tough move from Keyshawn Johnson.
Keyshawn Johnson signing a 2-way contract with the Miami Heat, according to Shams Charania. I believe Shams is with the Athletic. Is that who he's with? That is who he was. So now you're going to have 2 Wildcats, Keyshawn Johnson and Paul Larson, both going down to South Florida to have an opportunity to play. And I guess all the teams are in Las Vegas, correct? Or do they still kind of split up and go to different places with the
There's
Summer League?
3. There's Portland,
Salt Lake,
Orlando.
right?
Salt Lake does like a 4-team thing with the Jazz involved.
Okay.
And then Vegas it's kind of been a consolidation over the period of time. All the teams participate in Vegas. There's also smaller participations. Right. We just had a caller really quick, call in DK, and we're talking about famous NBA players and their offspring. And he said we should probably mention Kobe Bryant and his daughter, because obviously she was on a path, DK, to becoming a superstar, already kind of a bit of a household name.
Yeah.
So that is one
Gigi.
recent incident of tragedy, obviously. But,
Right.
There's one.
Rest in peace, Kobe and Gigi. Cricket is here, and Cricket's got tickets. Every Thursday during the summer, you want to be here because Cricket's got tickets. There's nothing better than when Cricket has tickets.
This is true.
Yes. What do you have tickets to today?
Well, Summer Safari Nights back at Reed Park Zoo on Saturday nights. And each week does feature keeper chats and animal encounters, artifact stations, giraffe feedings, carousel rides, crafts and games, and there will be a different theme each week. So every week, every Saturday night brings a little something new. So right now, caller 2 can win 2 tickets to experience Summer Safari Nights at Reed Park Zoo Caller 2-520-848-1290. Caller 2-520-848-1290. Good luck.
All right, so that is Saturday nights. Every Saturday night during the summer safari nights, 6 to 8 is the schedule there. This week we've got, let's see, it is Meet Your Zoo night. Highlighted animals are going to be all of the animals this week. So nobody's going to be ignored.
No one's left out this week on Saturday night.
Be ignored.
Good.
This particular Saturday night. And then the entertainment is Speedway Brothers. I don't know. Have you heard Speedway Brothers? That's a good Tucson name for a band.
That's a great name.
Yeah. I wonder what they play. If anybody knows what Speedway Brothers plays, give us a call, 520-848-1290. Pathway to Asia talk from Nancy Klug, the CEO, will also be this Saturday night. You can learn about all of the zoo departments and the committees. How many times have you been to the zoo here?
I couldn't even tell you.
That many times?
Yes.
Okay. What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite thing about it?
I like the tapers. Am I pronouncing that wrong? Is it tapir?
Tapers?
Yeah, really
tapers.
cool. Taper.
The big long noses.
They're really cool.
Yeah, very cute.
Have you ever ridden? Is it the camel? You can ride the camel. It's got the seats on it. Have you done that?
Oh, we have a camel?
I have a
think
rule
so.
of how
I think
high
there
I
was
am off the ground.
something.
And camels are.
I
they
swear
couldn't
the
break
last
that
time I
rule.
went, there was a camel, and you get into the seats, and you can ride the camel around the little circle there. I think they've got that. Yeah, that looked fun to me. I don't remember why we didn't do it, whether the line was just too long and we didn't feel like waiting or something like that. But that looked interesting, although it looked a little bit scary because, the camel kind of
sway a little bit, yeah, like
back and forth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, last thing I need to do is get tossed by this camel.
I think
I was on TV at the time. I didn't want him stepping on my face.
I could spend hours watching the otters.
The otters.
Oh my gosh, right?
Nice.
They're so cute.
So cute.
There you go. All right, Cricket, I appreciate that. We'll get Cricket's getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather. We'll find out who our winner is coming up.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Ajo Way west of I-19, some police activity there. Westbound Valencia west of 6th Avenue closed due to a crash involving a motorcyclist. Ajo Way and Park Avenue, a pedestrian struck. Also collision Nogales Highway south of Aero Park Boulevard and some southbound backups. 82 the low, 103 with a 15% chance of rain tomorrow, and 105 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Get immersed in new worlds and ideas with Audible. Explore an incredible selection of audiobooks, podcasts, and originals, all in one easy app. There's more to imagine when you listen. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com.
Not all sports stations are built the same way. 1290 has Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball, plus the NFL and the Super Bowl. Tucson Trust's 1290. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Feel the excitement at Saguaro Harley-Davidson, right in the heart of Tucson. They're proud to be Arizona's #1 Harley shop with the largest selection of pre-owned inventory and the home of retail for trade. Looking to buy or sell? Saguaro Harley-Davidson is here to help. From events, parts and motor clothes, to service and sales, the team will meet all your Harley-Davidson needs with a smile and unmatched expertise. Make your Harley-Davidson experience one to remember. Only at Saguaro Harley-Davidson or online at saguaroharley.com. Some restrictions may apply. See dealer for details.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work. Oh. Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
No one knows the importance of a great assist more than Lowe's and Leo Messi. That's why we've teamed up to give MVP's Pro Rewards members 10 times the points when Messi makes an assist during CONMEBOL Copa America USA 2024. Activate this offer starting June 20th, so when Messi assists, you score. Shop the day after an assist to earn those extra points. Not an MVP's Pro Rewards member? Join today. Visit Lowe's.com/Messi for more details.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
At Progressive, we know money can't buy you happiness. But money did help you buy an RV, which means an excuse from working Saturday with your insufferable coworker, Dave. So money is helping you listen to birds chirp instead of Dave chirping about how his toddler is fluent in 3 languages. And it's also why you'll be smelling pine trees in the air, not Dave's tuna melt reheating in a microwave. So save money by bundling your RV or boat insurance with home or auto from Progressive and buy more happiness, or something close to it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Because you want to hear bacon and eggs on your outdoor griddle, not the scraping of rust. Introducing the Weber Slate Rust-Resistant Griddle. Stays ready, not rusty, with a carbon steel cooktop, pre-seasoned and ready to cook on right out of the box. The Weber Slate heats evenly edge to edge up to 500 degrees. All you'll hear is the gasp of amazement from friends and family when you serve the food. Cooking with the Weber Slate Rust-Resistant Griddle just sounds delicious and tastes even better.
Southern Arizona Radiology Associates have been dedicated to providing superior images and quality care for the last 35 years. They're the one you trust when you need an X-ray, CT scan, ultrasound, mammogram, or MRI. They have locations in Tucson, Green Valley, and Sierra Vista. Ask your doctor to refer you to Southern Arizona Radiology Associates today. That's Southern Arizona Radiology Associates. Visit their website at sararadiology.com or call 520-335-6849 for more information.
Wildcats fans from coast to coast can bring a little bit of Tucson to themselves wherever they happen to be by streaming 1290 on our website at wildcatsradio1290.com. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Somebody just won a pair of tickets to Summer Safari out at the Reed Park Zoo every Saturday night from 6 to 8 p.m. Who was that person, J-Dub?
Mr. Corey Graff won these tickets. He has a very serious job, a much more important job than we do, DK. So he couldn't quite stay on the line. But yeah, congratulations to Mr. Graff.
Congratulations, Corey Graff. He gets 2 tickets to the Summer Safari back this summer at Reed Park Zoo. Again, all the animals going to be highlighted this Saturday night. Next Saturday for the 6th of July, it'll be spots and stripes, with the highlighted animals being the zebra, the jaguar, the giraffe, and the ringtail lemurs.
What do you like better?
What in terms of
spots or stripes?
Oh, spots. I think I like stripes. Yeah, I'm a stripes guy. Zebra. I used to do a little umpiring, but I would
right. There you go.
But no, the zebras are generally the basketball guys, so I would never have done that. If you did not get a chance to win free tickets from us, you can get in for free if you are a member of the Reed Park Zoo. So become a member of the Reed Park Zoo, and you can go to Summer Safari for free.
May have 2 more.
2 more tickets?
Because last week we didn't have a winner.
Oh, yeah.
We were, by the way, for listeners, we did have the opportunity to interview a spokesperson for the Zoo Summer Safari Nights, and she was kind enough to give us these tickets to give away. But I do believe there should be maybe 2 more, so we'll have to figure that out.
Maybe we'll hold on to those till July, because there's still a lot of weeks left.
August 10th is the last day that they do it.
So maybe we'll do that. We'll hold those for a couple weeks and give those out maybe after we get back from Las Vegas in a few weeks. But if you didn't get free tickets, you can buy your tickets there. $10.50 for adults ages 15 and up to 61. Seniors 62 and over, $8.50. Haven't reached that point yet, thank goodness. $6.50 for children ages 2 to 14, and children under 2 get in free to Summer Safari. So
to answer your question you asked real quick last segment about the Summer League, there used to be a lot more, but they've been consolidating them. All the teams are in Las Vegas, but they do have the traditional Sacramento Summer League, and they have the Salt Lake one, and those are minimal, much smaller groups and much shorter. So July 6th to 9th is the Sacramento League, and Salt Lake is July 8th to 10th. Las Vegas is July 12th to 22nd, so like a 10-day period.
I know that Vegas will be there just as we are. They'll get started at the tail end of the week that we are going to be in Vegas. In fact, I don't think we told you that, but so some programming announcements while we're at it here. We will not have any shows next week, so we'll be taking the week off next week with DK on the Sports Tip. We are debuting a new show next week, so you won't have us, but you will have the first week of Rich Eisen here on the Wildcats Radio 1290. Rich Eisen, the longtime anchor at the NFL Network. He does a daily show, and we're going to be hearing his daily show beginning on Monday from noon to 3. So Rich Eisen will follow Jim Rome here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Normally, then we would follow Rich Eisen from 3 to 6, but we're going to take next week off. But we'll come back the following Monday from Las Vegas. The intention is to do all of our shows the week of July 8th and the 12th from Las Vegas. And as we get set for the Big 12 Media Days, which are going to be on Tuesday, July the 9th, and Wednesday, July the 10th. And then we'll do 5 days worth of shows in Las Vegas. I'll be conducting those shows from the pool at Wet Republic. Now, not really, unless they want to invite me to do the shows by the pool at Wet Republic with a fancy DJ playing in the background. I'll definitely go ahead and do that. But we'll be in Las Vegas. We'll be at Allegiant Stadium on Tuesday, July 9th, Wednesday, July the 10th for the Big 12 Media Days. It's going to be interesting. I don't know how it's going to work. My understanding is it's not like the Pac-12 where it's kind of the Pac-12 last year when we went, it was a car wash, and we kind of got to talk to a lot of the different teams. It's not quite conducted that way in the Big 12. Shocker. But we'll try to get as many interviews as we can. It's broken up into 2 days. The Wildcats are actually going to be on day 2. Arizona State is going to be on day 1. So most of the stuff with the Arizona Wildcats is going to be on Wednesday.
Is that like where you have
week.
2 kids and you put one in the front seat and one in the way back so they
there
don't
you go.
fight each other during the whole trip?
You don't want them getting on each other and doing crazy stuff.
No.
For sure. It's going to be fun, though. It's going to be a lot of fun. My wife was telling me, and I had not heard this, but I guess there's a house inside or some type of living space inside of Allegiant Stadium that potentially, I guess, I don't know if the Davises live inside the stadium. I had not heard that. This was something my wife told me last night. I guess one of her friends went on a tour. One of our friends went on a tour when they were in Vegas of the house that's inside of Allegiant Stadium. So I'm definitely going to have to go and search that out when we get there in 2 weeks. And so then we'll come back and then we'll come back. We'll have another week of shows after the trip to Vegas, and then we'll be taking another week off in July, the week of, I believe it's the 23rd. The 23rd through the 28th will be we'll take that. The 23rd through the 27th. We'll take that week off as I'll be heading back to see my father in Philadelphia. And then we'll come back, and the first day of practice is July the 30th. So it seems like it's really far away, a full month, but with so much going on, it's really not that far away. Football is just around the corner, and we can't wait to dive into that and give you everything you need to know. In fact, we'll start getting into football when we come back from Vegas with different little things on the Wildcats that we didn't maybe touch on in the spring and throughout the rest of the month of that, at least over that 2-week period as we lead you into the start of fall camp at the end of the month. Going to be fun. 520
You better
again.
go say hi to Pella and Keyshawn while you're there.
Yeah, well, yeah, they will be getting there kind of towards the end of that trip. So maybe if, in fact, there is maybe I will have to return that we got the thing for the credentials, but I wasn't going to return it because I didn't think the games were starting until after I was gone.
Have you been much to summer league stuff?
I've never been to that summer league. I mean, I used to go to the, back in the day when the summer league was at Loyola Marymount in Los Angeles. I used to go to that summer league a lot towards the end of my college years when they first started that. I can remember seeing Sean Kemp play at the summer league at Loyola Marymount. Dwayne Shinsius. So,
oh yeah,
I'll tell this
Syracuse.
story. I'll tell this story real quick. So one of the reasons that I saw quite a few games there was because there used to be a sportscasters camp that was conducted during the summer league, and that was part of the instruction was they would have the whole baseline on the one side would be kids that wanted to get into broadcasting, and they would the guy that ran the camp, Roy Engelbrecht, you would go there and you would do the games. You would do like play-by-play, and that's how. And it was an entire week. It was on Loyola Mariemont's campus. The kids all stayed in dorms. I was more of an instructor and an assistant. More than I never actually went to the camp because I got involved with it towards the years that I was graduating. So I worked more as a camp assistant and that kind of thing. But it was fun just to kind of be in one of those campus summer settings where you're staying in a dorm all summer long, and you got all these kids from all over the country, and they all want to be broadcasters, and we're all looking to try to get in the business. And one of the funniest lines that ever came out of that camp involved Dwayne Shinsius. He was playing, and gosh, I wish I remember this kid's name. But he said something along the lines of Shinsius under the basket with a 3-foot hooker.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a real good one.
I was like,
where did Dwayne Shinsius go to school? I thought it was.
Was he a Syracuse guy?
I thought it was Big East or something.
Yeah, I think he is a Big East guy.
I was my uncle, like I said, had a restaurant in Salt Lake City, and my mom was up there for a couple summers during the late 80s, and I went to East High School, which is a very, very small venue, and I saw, the Sean Elliott, Kenny Lofton, those classes when they were after they were drafted. I don't remember specific games, but I do remember going to quite a few games in that little gym, which was only like a mile away, not exactly close to where the old Salt Palace used to be, but it's fun. It's fun to go down. I don't know about what it's like these days, and obviously Vegas is much more of an event than this was. Much more just like, let's get some kids in the gym, and there was no fans. It was just a bunch of people standing around, almost like a pickup game.
Fun stuff, though. Fun stuff. Those seeing some of those young guys coming out and getting their first shot back in would have been around 90, 91, and in that era, 89, 90, 91, that I was involved with the Summer League out there. Is this a caller here we have? Oh, next segment. All right. We'll take that next segment. 520, while we have an opportunity here, let's hear from the first-round pick for the Phoenix Suns. Ryan Dunn spoke to the media after he was taken by the Denver Nuggets after the Nuggets had agreed to a swap of players with the Phoenix Suns, and he is on his way from Virginia to the desert.
What was going through your mind when you hear your name and it's a dream come true?
Everything that I thought of came to life. Flashbacks from when I was young, just, dreaming to be in this position, walking across that stage in my mind, and, hearing my name be called and all across the stage today, it all came true. So it was just God giving us to be here.
As junior and senior?
Yes, sir.
How did playing there help your development and lead you to being here?
It helped me a lot. That program at Lehigh was probably the best decision I made to go there for my 2 years. That's a college-ready program to get kids to get ready for college, and I'm forever grateful for Coach Buck and Coach Josh to give me the opportunity to play there. Their practices are like college practices, so I was prepared to go into that. Just having the competitive mindset helped me a lot.
With defense, you're known as a great defender, so is that inherent in you, or did Bennett put that into you, or what did you think?
I think it was Coach Bennett. I was really known as a good defender coming out of high school, and then once I got to UVA and had my growth spurt, I just, I think I got some God-given talents. Coach Bennett, drew that defensive mindset into me. I was able just to, take it off in Virginia.
What do you think about going to Phoenix?
I'm excited. Great program. They want to go win a championship, and they got great players to do it. So, I'm excited to get down there and go to work and see what I got to do just to get there.
Your three-point numbers, you didn't take a lot, but they were down. But you were good at Lehigh at shooting the threes. So do you think you can improve that in the pros?
Yeah, I think I can. It's just getting a lot of reps and in practice, like that, and just getting ready, just to get the confidence, just let it go. So that's what we're trying to do now at Phoenix, just be in the gym a lot, just what I got to do as a team.
Are you a lifelong resident of Freeport?
I am, born and raised.
Okay. And how do you feel about you and your brother, both first-round picks, different sports?
It's crazy because he's lived in Arizona as well, so we're both going to be in the same state again, living together. So it's going to be good, but, being from New York, representing not only as two athletes, but as brothers in both different sports, it's amazing, and I'm grateful.
Where is he now since his shoulder surgery?
He's actually in Arizona. That's where he's staying, so he's rehabbing on that. So
He's not with a team right now?
Not right now, but he's going to start throwing for team soon.
Okay.
All right, that was Ryan Dunn. At the end, they're talking about his brother, Justin, who is a pitcher, and I believe he's a free agent, as you heard there kind of towards the end right now. He was with the Seattle Mariners organization, but working through some injuries. So, again, that's pretty cool there. Justin Dunn and Ryan Dunn. And Ryan, you heard the guy that was doing the interview there mentioned Lehigh. That's kind of funny. That's his high school. He went to Long Island Lutheran High School. I went to a U-High. Ryan Dunn went to a Lehigh.
Where does Lehigh fit into all that?
Well, that's a college, so I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that would fit into a high school kind of thing. He also played at Oak Hill Academy as well before his career at Virginia. Played 65 games. Again, not necessarily a scorer, 5 points, 5 rebounds, but boy, did he show he could block some shots last year. He had 77 blocked shots in 34 games. That's almost close to 2.5 blocks per game.
Yeah, as a guard, it's pretty crazy.
As a guard. So we'll see. Ryan Dunn, the newest member of the Phoenix Suns. Cricket, getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported in Clearing, Drexel, and Tucson Boulevard in Drexel. Nogales Highway south of Aero Park Boulevard. Ajo Way and Park Avenue reported as a pedestrian struck. Police activity on Ajo west of I-19. 82 the low, 103 with a 15% chance of rain tomorrow, and 105 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. It's time to experience the thrill of the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com. It's free to play. Play for fun and no purchases necessary. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions.
As you know, summer is right around the corner, and for most people, that means more activities, more golf, more biking, more of whatever you love to do. But if you're dealing with aches and pains, your more could become less. This is why I'm here to tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. You see, instead of masking your pain, Relief Factor's formula is designed to help reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free, and it's been a game changer for so many people. So let's get after it this summer. Let's feel good. Let's do more of the things that we love to do. Don't let pain keep you down. Give Relief Factor a try and save on your first order. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Help fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Is Charlie Woods the most anticipated, follow in the footsteps child of an athletic Hall of Famer we've ever had? Bronny James, as good as he may be, still has to compete within the parameters of a team sport. Golf is individual. Dale Earnhardt Jr. came along just at the beginning of the social media era. I don't know that there's anybody else.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Psst. Hey, I have a secret. I use Secret Whole Body Deodorant because more than just my armpits stink.
Oh, can I use it where my bra rubs under my...
Oh, yeah.
And what about down there? You know, my...
Totally. 4 out of 5 gynecologists would recommend it. So I tried it, and now I get 72 hours of freshness from my pits to my...
Ooh, I love that it's a spray.
Me too. And it comes in sticks and creams, too. Go get your Secret Whole Body Deodorant.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-488-1329. That's 800-488-1329.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-859-3220. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-859-3220. 800-859-3220 or biglou.com.
100 years ago, there were 100,000 tigers in the wild. Today, there are as few as 3,200. The Earth's wild animals can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at this number. You can text us at this number. We'll hear in the 5 o'clock hour from Steve Kerr. He is the head coach of the U.S. men's Olympic basketball team, and we mentioned they're going to be starting their training camp in Las Vegas. A lot happening in Las Vegas on the basketball and football fronts this summer. We mentioned we're headed to Las Vegas for the Big 12 Football Media Day. We got the schedules today, J-Dub, for the Big 12 basketball, at least not the dates or anything like that, but just who's playing who and where coming up this season. I totally messed this up a bunch of times already this morning, just kind of looking at it and trying to parse through the information as it was sent out by both the conference and by the Wildcats. But the gist of it, one of the things that stands out in terms of the differences between the men's and the women's schedules is that the women will play just 3 home and homes in their schedule. The men will play 5 home and homes in their schedule. And among the things that we will not get this year is a home and home on the men's side with Kansas, as the Wildcats will head to whether it's Fog Allen or potentially, Kansas City or wherever they play a number of their home games this year.
Yeah, I think most Arizona fans would love to see Kansas come to Tucson. I think that's a big reason why they're excited about joining this basketball conference. The teams that Arizona will play home and away, Arizona State, Baylor twice, DK, home and away. That's exciting. BYU, you always talk about how you'd like to see that BYU rivalry with Arizona get back into full swing. So they're coming to Tucson. Iowa State and Texas Tech. Iowa State, DK, is the team in that conference that a lot of people may not understand are right there at the top. So Houston, Baylor, Kansas, these are names that we hear all the time. Iowa State finished second in that conference. They finished ahead of Baylor, ahead of Kansas in the final standings last year. Arizona, home games only. Central Florida, Colorado. Seen a lot of Colorado in Tucson recently. Houston, going to be really great. I'm sure Kelvin Efon's real excited to see that. The Cougars team, that's such a tough team. TCU, also great physical defensive team. And Utah, the Utes coming to town. Cincinnati, Kansas, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, and West Virginia are the teams that Arizona will not see in Tucson, but will only play in their venues.
And on the ladies' side, the home and aways will be, again, I mentioned there were 3, Arizona State, BYU, and Utah, so all regional there for the ladies. Coming here this year will be Baylor. That'll be a good home game. Cincinnati, Iowa State, TCU, Texas Tech, and West Virginia. A lot of connections there as well with Beth Shelby, who is one of the assistant coaches for the Wildcats, having coached at West Virginia. And away, the ladies will travel to Central Florida, Colorado, Houston, Kansas, Kansas State, and Oklahoma State. Kansas played here a few years ago, in fact, in the non-conference and kicked Arizona's butt. So that'll be a game that they'll be wanting to get some payback on on the women's side as well. So that is your Big 12 basketball schedule. If you want to talk about that, we can do that. 520-848-1290. In fact, let's talk to Doug. Doug, you're on DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio's 1290.
Hey, fellas, bear down. Good to see you. Good to
Bear
talk to you, rather. I guess I'm not watching you on a live stream, so not good to see you. Good to talk to you. Yeah, actually, perfect timing, because I actually did want to talk about the Big 12 basketball scheduling. It was nice to see how it plays out for this first year. And, this morning on social media, people were just freaking out because, we don't have the home and home with Kansas. And I just wanted to kind of address that among some other things about the schedule. But I think a lot of Arizona fans are stuck in the mind frame, the framework, whatever the term is, of Arizona UCLA dominating the Pac-12, that it's a two-team conference, and that's not the Big 12. We're projected to probably at best be the number 5 team in the Big 12 this year. The 4 teams ahead of us are probably top 10 in the preseason poll. When you talk about Kansas, Houston, Iowa State, and Baylor, I mean, Baylor might be number 1. Kansas might be number 1. And so if you're Brett Yormark and the Big 12 scheduling committee, you're not looking at it as like, ooh, we've got our 2 premier teams, Kansas and Arizona. Let's make sure they play home and home. You're looking at it as we've got, 5 teams that are going to be elite this year. We can't have them all play each other home and home, so we have to break it down some way. So to me, I don't mind that we're not playing Kansas home and home this first year. It's only the first year. Next year we might play them home and home. Next year maybe we'll only play them at McHale and not return to Kansas.
Just to put some numbers behind that, Doug, last year the Pac had 1 team in the final net rankings for the official. We're talking about the official NCAA.com net rankings for basketball. They had 1 team in the top 25. Did the Pac? That was Arizona, right? Mm-hmm. The Big 12 had number 1 Houston, number 6 Iowa State, number 12 BYU, number 14 Baylor, number 19 Kansas. 5 teams in the top 25 just in the final rankings of net. So you're talking about a 2-league. We've seen a lot of ups and downs from the Oregons and the Washington States of the conference over the past 15, 20 years. But that league, especially right now, Big 12, top 8 teams, top 7, 8 teams can all compete for that title.
Oh, it's brutal. It's just brutal. I mean, Houston brings back 8 of their 9 starters, or 8 of their 9 rotation guys other than Jamal Shedd, and they replaced him with a great transfer recruit. I forget who it is. Iowa State brings back just about everybody. Kansas brings back everybody plus a bunch of recruits. Baylor, like I said, is projected to possibly be the best team in the country. So as I start looking at the schedule for next year, it's just like, get the Alka-Seltzer, because you've got, tell me, I'm going to go through some games if we have a minute here, and just tell me, is this a losable game, right? So first of all, we get, I don't know the sequence of all this, but we get Duke at home. Can we lose that game?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Of course. Okay. We play in the Battle for Atlantis. The other teams in that tournament are Gonzaga, Indiana, Louisville, which is on the rise again, Oklahoma, Providence, which has been hot lately, and West Virginia. Could we go 1-2 in that tournament?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So there's 3 games that we could lose.
Supposed to be it was supposed to be 3-0 in the Battle for Atlantis, right? And they went 0-3 in that one. So
now I think the last time we went to Atlantis, we got housed, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, housed 0-3. Yeah, that was miserable.
Yeah.
I think we went into that ranked number 2 in the country and came out of it unranked. All right. So continuing, we play at Wisconsin. Is that a losable game?
Yes. Always, yeah.
Always. Okay. We play Alabama in Birmingham. Ooh. They're returning Final Four team, projected top 5 in the country. Is that a losable game?
Mm-hmm.
100%. Yeah. Right. We play at Kansas. We play Baylor home and home. Could we get swept by Baylor home and home this year?
Possibly.
I mean, it's definitely possible. Right? Yeah. We play Houston, I think, only at home, but that's a losable game. We play Iowa State home and home. I mean, Ames is not a picnic. Hilton, whatever it's called, Hilton Head Coliseum. And then also, even here in Tucson, that's a losable game. You've got a game at Cincinnati, who's projected to be pretty good. The team up north here in Arizona has a bunch of, recruits. They're going to be better. Playing at BYU, or maybe that's Hilton. I forget which arena is which. But my point is, there's at least a dozen games right there, not even mentioning the ones that can sneak up and bite you when you don't expect them, like the Utahs and the UCFs and stuff. That could very easily be losses, even as good as I think our team is going to be. So for people to complain, oh, we don't get to have Kansas added to our schedule,
right.
I think we've got enough tough games on the schedule.
But here's what I'll say to that, Doug, and I think that when you look at this transition, when you look at the marriage of these four corner schools with these teams to hold over 12 to make 16, what is the one marquee game that's coming in? The one marquee game that's coming in is Arizona and Kansas. I don't think you could say that about Utah, ASU, or Colorado. I mean, it's Arizona and Kansas. That's the one marquee new game. So what I would say is I don't understand why you wouldn't want those two teams playing twice the first year.
Okay, I think if the person who's in charge of making the most money for their television network is scheduling, they're going to put Arizona and Kansas twice a year every year. But I think they're also, from your Mark's perspective in the Big 12's, management, they have to figure out a way to, they're doing it. First of all, they're jumping to a 20-game schedule. They didn't do that before. And they're adding a whole bunch of new teams and figuring out how these pods and all this is going to work. I think it's really, I don't think it's a lose-lose situation, putting together a schedule for this conference. Ideally, you want, from our perspective, obviously you want to see Kansas twice a year. That's the, along with Kentucky are the two most prominent basketball programs in the history of college basketball. And there's a lot of history between the Jayhawks and the Wildcats, obviously. And when it comes to trying to figure out a way to get these mountain schools and the schools that are coming over from the conferences, including BYU and that, together in a home-and-home series package, to reduce the amount of travel that they're going to have to be doing, guys, right? I mean, that's the real crux behind a lot of how this scheduling is going to happen. I'm hoping that they'll switch it up so it'll be Kansas home, Kansas away, and then Kansas home and away. If that's what they're going to do. If not every year, you're not going to play Kansas twice every year. It needs to rotate 1 year in Kansas, 1 year in Tucson, and then the third year they play in both. That would be ideal.
I'm sure they'll do that. Yeah, I imagine that's the model for every matchup. Kansas State versus UCF. It's probably the same thing, And by the way, we don't play in Orlando this first year, but that's probably good because we have enough, enough travel as it is. UCF
I gotta ask
only at home.
One rhetorical question. What's better? Well, I'll give you three options. What's better, the 80s where you saw a whole bunch of top 10 numbers next to opponents for Arizona, or 10 years ago when Coach Miller wouldn't schedule anybody and everybody's complaining about how you didn't get to see any real marquee matchups, or a situation like they had last year or this year? How many top 10, top 15 teams did they play last year before December ended? A lot, right?
Yeah.
So you want to end the only national championship this program's ever won. They had how many, 14 losses that year, something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, you want to see your team get challenged. You want to be able to overcome those obstacles. But more than anything, you just want to be playing your best basketball come March. So I think a schedule like this obviously is a pro. I don't give a damn how many losses they have at the end of the year. You make it to the tournament, you have a chance to cut nets down in March. The more different styles, in my mind, that they see throughout the year that are a challenge to overcome, the more better prepared that you are, and you have the growth of obviously your player development and everything along the way. So, yeah, I mean, outside of not seeing Kansas twice, I don't have anything to complain about.
Yeah, I know you said it was rhetorical, but I'm going to answer it anyway.
Give it.
To me, the best mix was back in the Lute Olson era because we had a higher quality conference. We had the UCLA and Stanford as pretty elite programs alongside us, and we would mix in the game against Syracuse or UConn or Michigan or Duke, and some other in the preseason NIT or Maui. And so you'd get kind of a nice balance throughout the season. Last year, I thought was a little bit too front-loaded because we played all of those tough non-conference games, but then our conference schedule was soft. This coming season, I think, might be a bit much because it's loaded across the board from, like I said, Atlantis, Duke, Wisconsin, Alabama, and then you do the whole conference slate, 20 games, and then the Big 12 tournament. Like, who's coming out of that, unscathed? So, I mean, we could have 11 losses and still be a 4 seed or something.
It's
it wouldn't
a
be
really
out,
good excuse for Coach Lloyd to mix in the 7th, 8th, and 9th guys on his bench to get some early experience, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we always every season in the off season we talk about, this is like the best depth I've ever seen on an Arizona roster, and then inevitably, whichever coach it could be Russ Pennell, it could be Miller, it could be Lloyd. It always just tightens up as you get into the conference season. They just don't trust that 8, 9, 10 guy as much. But if you're going to go through the brutality of a Big 12 schedule, you're going to need those.
You need a lot of bodies.
Guys. You do. You really do. I just wanted to throw one thing about the NBA draft as a total aside. That I just find it really funny that Colorado had Tristan Da Silva and KJ Simpson and Cody Williams on their roster. Like 2 of them are lottery picks, and the other one I don't know where KJ Simpson went, and he still couldn't do much of anything in a weak Pac-12 last year. It just kind of makes me wonder how he's going to do this year without those guys in the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, there was obviously injuries. We talked about that in the first hour. The injuries when we didn't see the first those 2 guys here, and I think that was probably part of it. It would have been nice to have. J-Dub brought the point of it. It would have been nice to seen them be healthy all year.
It's so tough
to see what they could have done,
especially with Cody, right? Because he played a few games, then he got injured, and he sat out a pretty significant amount of time.
Yeah.
That was when Arizona didn't see him down here. With any freshman who's a frontline guy like that, just the idea that KJ was so overused, like the usage rate of KJ Simpson during that stretch, and then Da Silva obviously went down. They never really had a chance to put it all together. So that's really, along with USC last year, one of those what ifs type of scenarios.
Yeah. Those are both really kind of equivalent examples. You're exactly right. And Colorado's had kind of a history of leaning on a guard like that, like McKinley Wright for all those 9 years he was there. Pretty heavy workload on him too. Anyway, I just wanted to share my thoughts on the scheduling. It's exciting, but it's also a little bit daunting. So I'm just don't put me in the camp of complaining if we don't have like 2 games against Kansas on top of everything else.
There you go. Hey, Doug, we always appreciate your call. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys. Take it easy.
BK on the sports tip. JW Madden Cricket here. Much more coming up for you in the 5 o'clock hour. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Eastbound I-10 approaching Star Pass 22nd Street with a collision and some backups already on the eastbound side of I-10 as you approach and pass Congress. Other collisions, westbound Valencia at Midvale Park, Drexel and Tucson Boulevard, Nogales Highway south of Aero Park Boulevard, also Ajo Way and Park Avenue. Police activity on Ajo west of I-19. And for your weather overnight, the low around 82, 103 with a 15% chance of rain tomorrow and 103 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com.
With over 100 online casino-style games, Chumba Casino is your go-to destination for nonstop entertainment. Play for fun and play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. Well, that was a new NBA draft experience last night because for the first time ever, the draft is now a 2-day event. I guess the reason being both rounds in one night was just too many picks and way too slow moving and just flat out boring. 60 picks in one night had gotten to be one of the most drawn out, laborious, excruciating, sleepy, terrible nights of sports television on the entire calendar. So I was actually pretty intrigued to see how round 1 all by itself might play out. And you know what? I got to be straight. I got to be honest. Watching that last night, it was drawn out, laborious, excruciating, sleeping, and boring as hell anyway. In the past, I've said that the NBA draft is so brutal. The 2 rounds in one night feels longer than the NFL doing 7 rounds over 3 days. Well, last night we found out that 1 round in one night still feels longer than the NFL doing 7 rounds in 3 days. Epic fail.
O'Reilly. When your wiper blades do more smearing than clearing during a storm, it's time to replace them. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get a pair of Bosch Pure Vision wiper blades on sale now. Buy one, get one free. Offer is valid in-store only. Our professional parts people will even install them for free. Get a better view of the road at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The light is fading, your hands are sore, and the last tool's been put away. Now is the time to feel the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. But when you get your tools from Harbor Freight, something about the job feels a little different. Your wallet. Because we believe that everyone deserves hardworking tools at hardworking prices. And that's what we have here. So, whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
We get you so close to McHale, it sounds like the Arizona Pep Band is riding in your back seat.
What the hell is going on?
This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
You want to protect her. You'll give anything to make sure nothing harms her. Every minute together makes unforgettable memories. Except that time you parked her under that tree and...
Oh, come on, man. Really?
Sorry, we'll never speak of it again. But remember who came to her rescue? Recon Auto Detailing. Arizona's premier auto detailing company comes directly to you. We'll make your masterpiece shine like it should, and with a monthly maintenance package, we'll keep it that way. Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
It's no contest, Tucson. You're listening to the home of the Arizona Wildcats. That's why 1290 runs this town. This is the one and only home of your Arizona Wildcats.
And you know this, man!
We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Are you facing plumbing problems and need a reliable solution? Whether it's a leaky faucet, a clogged drain, or an upgrade to a tankless water heater, Rightway has you covered. And for a limited time only, we're offering 10% off your next repair or installation. Don't let plumbing issues ruin your day. Call Rightway at 520-276-2775. We'll get a plumber to your door. If it's worth doing, do it the right way.
Attention talcum powder users. Have you had ovarian or gynecological cancer? A proposed $8 billion plan will pay those who believe they got sick from using talc products like Johnson's baby powder and shower to shower. Johnson & Johnson maintains its products are safe. You have until July 26, 2024 to vote to accept or reject the plan. For more information, visit officialtalclaims.com or call 888-431-4056. Paid for by LLT Management, LLC.
Because you want to hear bacon and eggs on your outdoor griddle, not the scraping of rust. Introducing the Weber Slate Rust-Resistant Griddle. Stays ready, not rusty, with a carbon steel cooktop, pre-seasoned and ready to cook on right out of the box. The Weber Slate heats evenly edge to edge up to 500 degrees. All you'll hear is the gasp of amazement from friends and family when you serve the food. Cooking with the Weber Slate Rust-Resistant Griddle just sounds delicious and tastes even better.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what?
Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but three first names, David Scott Kelly.
Hour number 3 of the program tonight. DK on the Sports Tip. The NBA draft is over. Now we turn our eyes to the big debate tonight. Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. We're going to talk drinking games for this coming up a little bit later in this hour. If you've got a drinking game, first of all, what are you going to be drinking tonight while you watch this debate at home? What's going to be your drink of choice? 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. I believe it starts right after our show ends, so I probably will end up watching most of it here while I finish up the daily duties, so I probably won't be drinking much of anything watching this tonight, but it's the kind of event that you need something to get you through it when you got two old men running for president.
I did read that normally they would have a 40-second delay.
Oh.
But they've set it up for a 2+ minute delay
Wow.
for this, so I think you might have a little time to get home.
And they, I heard they are they're turning off each other's mics.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
When one person is speaking, so they can't talk over each other like they are, like they're known to do.
I think most Americans would like a civil discourse of ideas and concepts and I don't think we've had that in 20+ years, but yeah, we'll see.
A civil discourse of ideas. I don't think you're getting that at all.
Probably not
tonight. So,
Probably not.
But we'll find out. So let us know where you're watching the debate tonight. If is anybody having what places are having debate parties? 520-848-1290. We'll take those as well as what you're going to be drinking on. I believe your girlfriend sent us a few. We'll get into those coming up here a little bit later as well. You know what else we might want to have a few drinks on after watching the last 2 days is the Diamondbacks, because they have been awful.
Diamondbacks download.
Baseball stuff!
Yeah, the baseball stuff was pretty bad after a pretty good win on Monday night, or actually Tuesday night, against the Minnesota Twins, when the D-backs, although they blew a 4-1 lead, rallied to win 5-4 over the visiting kids from Minneapolis. But let's start with last night's game, which, again, got out of hand real quick. In the second inning, you had Jose Miranda at the plate, and he was facing Ryan Nelson.
Big spot for Miranda. The pitch swung on and hit well. Left center field into the gap. No one's going to catch it. That ball finds the wall, bounces off the wall. 1 run will score. 2 runs will score. Here comes Byron. He will score. It's a bases clearing 3-run double for Jose Miranda, and the Twins all over Ryan Nelson in the second. They lead it 3-0.
All right, so Ryan Nelson entered last night's game with an ERA of 9 in the second inning. So that's not good. Just the second inning, his ERA entering last night was 9. He gave up those 3 runs, so now his ERA in the second inning is 10.29, the highest of any pitcher this season who has made at least 10 starts.
Now, I'm not super clear on the Major League Baseball rules, but could you pitch the first and then maybe have some kind of bathroom issue and then come back for the third? Could you skip an inning there? Or?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't think they allow that.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No. All right. Torey Lavello on Ryan Nelson's performance.
Really never got into a rhythm. They jumped on him early with those 3 runs. He was making mistakes, and they were ready to hit.
Ready to hit, indeed. Ryan Nelson, just pretty bad.
Most major leaguers are ready to hit, right?
I would hope so. I would hope you are. 3 2/3 innings, 6 runs, 10 hits allowed for Ryan Nelson, whose season ERA is now 5.69. 8-3 was the final last night. And if you thought the second inning was bad last night, the second inning was even worse today, as the Diamondbacks gave up 6 runs and could not play any defense.
1-2, grounded towards third, backhanded by Newman, throws to second for 1, he throws it high. It goes into right field, another run's going to score. To third, now on the play goes Correa. And the Diamondbacks are just falling apart here in this second inning. It's 4-0 Minnesota.
I mean, they had catcher's interference. They had 2 errors in the second inning that led to 6 runs. And it was, at that point, 6-0. 2 more runs in the third made it 8-0. And then Byron Buxton came up in the fourth with 2 men on.
3-2 on the way. Crushed to center field. Corbin Carroll's just going to look up and watch this one leave. It is way out of here. 3-run homer, 11-0 Minnesota. Wow.
Wow, indeed. 13-6 was the final today. Jordan Montgomery continues to not do a whole lot since he was signed to try to, bolster this rotation. 2 2/3 innings. He allowed 8 runs, but only 4 were earned because the Diamondbacks couldn't play any defense. 9 hits. His ERA is above 6 at 6.03. So you had Jordan Montgomery go 2 2/3 innings tonight. You had Ryan Nelson go 3 2/3 innings last night. And remember a couple weeks ago we talked about the bullpen kind of being trashed because you had the game where Zach Gallen got hurt. Well, now you're back to the bullpen being trashed again. Scott McGuff had to pitch 2 days in a row, pitched an inning last night, had to pitch another inning and a third today. Bryce Jarvis gave you 3 innings. He's probably done for a day or two. Martinez and Mantiply pitched today. Jarvis had already pitched an inning last night, so that's 4 innings in 2 games for him. Yikes. And no day off with the A's coming to town for a 6:40.
I'm always a cup half full kind of guy, and I just have to say that the good news, DK, is that the the Las Vegas Athletics have lost 15 out of the last 18 games.
Well, there you go. Well, that's so this is the second straight homestand. We've had a really bad team coming in. So it was the White Sox and the Angels, the last homestand. And so now you get the Athletics. So you really got to go to work and beat them probably all 3 games this weekend to try to right this whole thing.
They were so close to 500, DK.
Yeah, well, now you're 3 games under. You're 11 and a half games behind the Dodgers, who have won 4 games in a row. So that you're continuing to get further and further behind in the division. And I just don't know. I mean, I don't see it's this was about the time last year we started talking about it, but that was a pretty decent team that was playing well last year. But I don't know that I see this being even a wild card team at this point, especially with these injuries they've got. They're 3 back now in the wild card because a bunch of teams in front of them have gotten hot. San Diego's won 3 in a row. The Mets have won 3 in a row. The Mets have won 8 of their last 10. They're all of a sudden starting to play good again. They've hit 500. Look out. Here come the Pirates. The Pirates with Paul Skeens. Did you see Paul Skeens riding around on the boat with Livy?
I did.
Last week? That guy, man, who doesn't want to be Paul Skeens right now?
So last year at this exact same time, do you want to know the record?
Yeah.
48 and 33. So they've played 81 games.
Yeah, today was game 81, the halfway point.
So 48 and 33 was the record through 81 last year.
39 and 42 now, and fading fast in the National League. So, all right, the A's will be in town tomorrow. So let's see if we can get well on the A's. 6:40 again, first pitch tomorrow night up at Chase Field. All right, we've got it is debate night in the United States. Are you gonna get drunk watching this tonight, Cricket?
Oh, I can never wake up tomorrow. Well, I certainly wouldn't be waking up and making it on time to work tomorrow.
That's what we said. You got to be careful.
Oh, that's right. You actually have to be here early.
Yeah, like 5:45.
That's a completely different thing.
Yeah, so
no. You can never stay out late.
Correct.
Yeah. So Shannon said she likes to be in bed at like 7:42. I think she actually put like a specific time on it. Is there a time you absolutely have to be in bed?
I have to be in bed by 9 p.m., but I like to be getting ready for bed around 8:15. I like to be in bed at 8:30.
And the alarm goes off at
3. Well,
3.
Make it snooze 3:15.
3:15.
Yeah, make that 3:15.
All right. So we were talking about so if you're gonna watch this debate tonight, these 2 old men running for president, you gotta drink. There's got to be a drinking game out there that really works. So Paige, the lovely Paige, who's back here in Arizona from Arkansas, the right hand of Mr. J.W. Madden, she came up with a few drinking options for tonight. So let's hear what Paige came up with.
She sent me 2 things. She sent me a list, and she also sent me a bingo card, so we won't even get into that.
Right.
Here's a list of, because we're trying to be, impartial and make sure that we cover everything. Here's a list of drinking times when President Biden first calls Trump a convicted felon.
Yes, that'll happen.
2 says, quote, "Listen, folks."
Wait, no, this is who says this?
When
This
Biden
is-
says
Oh,
this.
Biden says,
Yes, this
listen,
is the
folks.
Biden
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah. Number 3 tells children a story that probably didn't happen.
Okay.
The third one is, quote, we're protecting / saving democracy. The fifth one makes a joke about his age. And the sixth one starts a sentence but ends it with a completely different thought.
Okay.
So if you decide to use this list, you better be drinking something with like a 2% alcohol by volume.
Yeah, like you better be doing like shots of White Claw or
Yeah,
something.
probably
Yeah.
so.
All right, so what about the other side?
Donald
then?
Trump,
Yeah.
it's, quote, people / everyone is saying. That's a big one. Heard that many times.
Everyone is saying, okay.
Sleepy Joe.
Yeah, it's Sleepy
I think
Joe.
we'll hear that at least
Oh,
25
yeah.
times.
Oh, yeah.
The, quote, Biden crime family. Number 4, we've got, quote, believe me. Just that. Just believe me. Insulting Jake Tapper. Is going to be a thing. And the last one is jazz hands or any other excessive hand motions.
Yeah, well, he's big with the hands.
Other than pointing a finger at the sky, that doesn't count.
He's
So any kind of jazz hands will get you a drink.
Oh, wow. There you go. There you go.
Jazz hands.
And then we have for both, when either freezes for 3 seconds, says, quote, this is the most important election, accuses the other of anti-Semitism, drinks their water. So I don't know about that one because I'm feeling like anybody's nervous is going to be drinking water. So
yeah,
don't drink
yeah.
when they're drinking water.
I like the Biden crime family one whenever Trump represents the Biden crime family. How about this one? Every time Trump says crooked, that one. And then and this was the one I was trying to think of. Every time Biden says, come on, man.
Oh, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that's a big quote.
That's a good one. That is a Biden. That's a Bidenism for sure. When he says, "Come on, man." Okay, so, and then these. Let's get some more. Take a shot. Take a shot. Well, when one candidate interrupts another, that's going to happen. Oh man, you'll get real drunk because that's going to happen a lot.
A lot.
And take a shot when either candidate brings up the border. I'm sure the border is going to come up quite a bit tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And
chances are, yes.
Every time the word Russia is mentioned.
Russia or China?
China.
Finish all. This is from the New York Post. Finish all the liquor in your cabinet if Trump and Biden actually agree on something.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
that won't happen.
Yeah, no.
Don't think so. All right, so that is coming up here, I believe, at the top of the hour. Get your drinks ready to go.
Have a designated driver. Be safe, everybody out there.
Please
Don't
drink
do anything
water.
stupid.
We want to hear. We want to hear. How it all played out for you.
We want you to call
tomorrow.
in for all of your thoughts on the Big 12. So make sure you don't, do shots of Jameson.
There you go.
For these things.
Cricket will be sleeping, so she won't probably watch it. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collision on eastbound I-10 east of Congress. That freeway slowing, stop and go, slow and go in some areas. On eastbound I-10, Miracle Mile to east of Congress. Also some westbound slowing on I-10 approaching Congress. Other collisions at Drexel and Tucson Boulevard. Also Nogales Highway south of Aero Park Boulevard. 82 as the low, 103 with a 15% chance of rain tomorrow and about 103 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The innovation you've been waiting for is here. The Big Cheez-It Crunchwrap Supreme and Tostada from Taco Bell. 16 times the size, 16 times the cheesiness, 16 times the innovation. Get one today at participating stores for a limited time while supplies last.
It's no contest, Tucson. You're listening to the home of the Arizona Wildcats. That's why 1290 runs this town. This is the one and only home of your Arizona Wildcats.
And you know this, man!
We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hi, you know me, Scott Lehman from ScottSaysYes.com. Check out this month's Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar powered by Premier Auto Center. Visit the Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar at WildcatsRadio1290.com to find out what community events are coming up in the Tucson area. You can also find Wildcats Radio 1290 events, upcoming sporting events, and more. Get the details and get involved with our community at WildcatsRadio1290.com. Go to ScottSaysYes.com today.
Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
Rumble is on a mission to give people the freedom to be entertained. Join Rumble and enjoy exclusive content from creators who are empowered to express themselves freely. Visit rumble.com or download the app and watch for free.
The Window Depot is more than a window store. The Window Depot is a one-stop warehouse with everything you need for your complete home remodel. Shop the aisles of pre-built cabinets in a variety of colors, granite and quartz countertops, sinks, skylights, and hardware to complete your project. Need a custom order? We can help. Our designers offer free design services and can special order everything you need for your kitchen or bathroom remodel today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. If you're driving right now, you may not be thinking about your tires, but chances are they've been tested before. Like that time you swerved to avoid the stray shopping cart that rolled into the street from nowhere? Or when you had a green light but did some extreme braking because another driver decided to turn left in front of you. And we've all had to navigate monsoon downpours that turned our streets into Arizona's largest slip and slide. At Jack Furrier's, we've helped Arizona drivers navigate these extreme moments for over 60 years with the right tires, the best steel, and a huge in-stock selection of the brands you trust. And now's the time to save big with the most rebates we've seen all year on the brands you love, like Michelin, Cooper, and Uniroyal tires, with up to $100 back all month long. And Jack Furrier cardholders get back another $30. Check out jackfurriers.com for details on all our sizzling summer savings. So for all those critical moments where your tires make the difference, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
Listen to the home of the Wildcats wherever you are on your iPhone and iPad by downloading our new app in the App Store so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports, sponsored by T-Mobile. Angel Reese poured in a career-high 25-point Sunday to power her Chicago Sky in a tight win over Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Reese also grabbed 16 rebounds to extend her rookie record with an 8th straight double-double. After falling to Clark in their first two professional battles, Reese and the Sky prevailed by a single point in front of a sold-out crowd in Chicago.
You know, everybody's watching right now. I think it's just one of the most important times right now. We just continue to keep putting on. I think both teams tonight did an amazing job putting on a show, and it was fun. I had a great time. I'm sure the other team had a great time. So I'm just happy we won tonight.
For the Fever, this ends their 4-game winning streak. Caitlin Clark finished with 17 points and a franchise record 13 assists in the loss. Chicago and Indiana renew their rivalry August 30th. With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Amy Lawrence on Westwood One.
Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate, or going to the grocery store for milk instead of buying your own cow. You know there's an easier and better way. Save up to 25% when you bundle home and auto with Allstate.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. Like 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. Switch today.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We're looking for your drinking game sayings, Bidenisms, Trumpisms that you're going to drink on when you hear them tonight. For the big debate, the first presidential debate, this one being put on by CNN Network. We'll get into, I think there's some bingo cards going around as well.
How many times do you think we'll hear, I know you are, but what am I?
I know you are. If it was the 1970s, we probably would hear that a lot. That was very popular on the playground when I was growing up. I don't know about that. Apparently it was for you too.
I just mean like the old idea of being accused of something and then rather than having anything to say about it. I think a lot of politics these days is just turning any kind of question or whatever around the other way as opposed to, talking about it. So I think we'll hear a lot of that tonight.
Yeah, we'll get into some of the things on the bingo card as well coming up before we get out of here today. But if you want to share a few of your favorite sayings that you think were drinkable tonight, please let us know. You can text us at 520-848-1290. In fact, why don't you text the word app, A-P-P, to 520-848-1290. I'll text you a link. You can download our app. You can follow us and take us wherever you go. You will never miss anything. We've got all kinds of great stories on our app. In fact, if you head over there right now, you'll read a little bit about the Suns owner and what he said yesterday, Matt Ishbia, concerning Kevin Durant. We played you the cuts of what James Jones said earlier about all the rumors about whether or not the Suns are wanting to trade Durant, if the relationship is bad between the two sides or whatever not. So you can read all about that on our app, as well as a little bit from yesterday's game, which the Diamondbacks lost, which we just went over. We'll get a story up for you on today's game as well. And, a little bit about Alex Marullo, who is obviously not going to be pursuing hockey here. The latest thing that we're hearing is that maybe this season and next season of the Roadrunners here in Tucson, he is attempting to and in the process of trying to build an arena in Reno, Nevada. And so that is the plan, at least from his side, is that he wants to hold on to this AAA franchise and potentially bring it up to play at this new arena in Reno, Nevada. So there you go. That would be the second professional sports team that Tucson has lost
and Reno's also
to Reno, Nevada.
1/4 the size of Tucson.
It is. But they're building a 10,000-seat facility, 10,000-seat arena there to do a lot of things, obviously host concerts and other things there, but hockey would also be a centerpiece of that. So it does not sound like there's any plans. He's going to obviously give back the trademarks of the Coyotes to the NHL, the name, the likeness, all of that will go back to the NHL. So that will be good. At least they'll have those there. But I would think you never know. I mean, if you're an owner coming in, if you're the next person who possibly thinks they can step up to the plate and try to bring hockey back here to the desert, do you want to bring them back as the Coyotes? Do you bring them back as something completely other than the Coyotes? I mean, that would be, now that it's not going to be Alex Marullo, I think that's maybe the next question to ask. Maybe that'll be. Well, I mean, has it ever happened? Well, I guess you could say it's happened. I mean, the Baltimore Ravens used to be the Baltimore Colts, so now, I mean, but they couldn't take
but
the
that's what I'm
Colts
saying.
back.
It's like the same thing with the Ravens and the Browns. That's the exact situation I was thinking of, is because clearly the Browns had to be the Browns forever,
right,
the original team. So when Cleveland lost their team, everybody knew that when Cleveland got a team back, they would have to be called the Browns.
Exactly.
When Minneapolis got a team, right, they weren't about to call them the Lakers because the Lakers had taken the name on and had been using it for 45 years. What I mean to say is, like, it's very rare to me that a city will lose their team. 5-10 years will go by. They will get the team back and recall it the same name as they did. Seems like a no-brainer if you want to retain any of the legacy fans that were there from before. As soon as you start, putting new names on it or whatever and new logos, it's a completely different franchise, right?
I think we found our question of the day for Friday. If hockey ever returns to Arizona, do you call it the Coyotes or do you call it something completely other than the Coyotes? That would be, we'll put that up. In fact, we might try to get that up tonight. We'll give you a full couple of days to vote on that one right there. We talked about the Diamondbacks losing big time today after they lost big time last night. Let's hear from the manager of the Diamondbacks on today's loss. He is Torey Lovello.
These are the kind of games that leave you super frustrated for a lot of different reasons. It wasn't a clean game. It was not. It was probably one of our worst games of the year, and it was not anything that I expected to see. And you can put your finger on a lot of different areas. It wasn't just one thing, one person, one part of our team. This was a team loss, and we got to be better than that. I think the guys understand what happened. You guys saw what happened. You saw the areas where we did not execute, and we paid for it. And we ended up giving up 13 runs, and that is not who we are or anything that we feel is anywhere near our standards. So we got to tighten it up, and we will. And we're in there talking about some strategies to coach these guys up the right way, have them understand that certain things need to take place, and we all got to be better, me included. And I was proud of the way we fought offensively. I think we saw some things in the first go around with a rookie pitcher, and then the second time it started to clean some things up, and we put some really good at bats on them. And I felt like we had a chance to score 8 to 10 runs when they had 6, and that's what I was barking to the guys that we can put up 10. Let's go hard, and we had some opportunities to get there, but we never quite did. Yeah, I could tell he's frustrated, and his path is maybe a little bit different to where he got to us. I know that, but I think he has not hit his stride yet, and I think him trying to get there is what will motivate him every single day. So, do I sense frustration? Yes, and I know he's much better. We all know he's much better, and I don't want him to worry about showing us that he has to be better, because when he puts that rig in automatic and gets out there in lane number 5 or lane number 1 and lets it run, that's when it gets real good. And he's gonna get there. But I know he wants to show us now. Just take every day as you can. The best work every day the best you can. He's got 4 days before his next start, and we're gonna need him again.
All right, that's Jordan. He's talking about. Excuse me. I gotta sneeze there. Jordan Montgomery, who pitched today and lasted just 2 2/3 innings, and it's been a struggle for Montgomery since he arrived this season. There have not been too many games where, I don't know if there's been any games where he's pitched into the 7th inning. Maybe one game, I think, early on against St. Louis. He went 7. He's had 2. So he's had 2 games where he's pitched 7 innings, but it has been rough. It has been rough for him. He's a guy that came in here with a lot of fanfare, but also a guy that came in here with no spring training and no real buildup to this thing as he joined the team in mid-April. So I mean, that goes back to show you when you don't have your routine to start the season, how difficult it can be to get into that groove where you're comfortable out there. And he just hasn't found it. Jordan Montgomery flat out we might not see the real Jordan Montgomery until next year. But again, he's a guy that's shown that he can do it at the major league level. And with a full off season and time to get ready and get back into that routine, maybe he recaptures that later this year. But more than likely, it's not going to be until next year. We talked about Kevin Newman getting the air early on in this game that cost them some runs. Kevin, though, was a part of that offense that Torey was talking about. They were down 11-0 at one point in this game. They lose 13-6, but Kevin did finish the game with a couple of RBIs today.
5.25.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought you asked me what Jordan Montgomery's second inning ERA was.
Yeah, I don't know. It's 6. That's 9 now. 9 runs in the second in the last 2 games. That's a quick way to play your way out of a baseball game, for sure. But back at it tomorrow against the A's in a game that'll start at 6:40. All right, 520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. We've been talking about the big debate tonight as well. JW sent me a bingo card as well on this.
I did not, don't credit me with any of this. So this was forwarded to me. I haven't even perused it over. So
is this also
if there's any
from
offensive
Paige?
stuff involved, I don't want any credit.
What are these? So, okay, I'm looking at this bingo card. I don't play bingo, so I don't know exactly. So we've got all these mugs in the middle.
I think the idea here is connect. You want to get 4 or 5 in a row.
Okay.
So the idea is if you get 5 in a row, you win.
Okay, I see. So we'll read some of these. I'll just go across. Biden says, "Look, folks." That's kind of like, come on, man.
Right.
Trump talks about the wall. I'm sure we'll hear that. Any candidate blames the other party. That's almost a for sure.
That'll be every sentence.
That's going to be, right there. Trump complains about the media. He's going to be all over CNN tonight.
Yeah.
Biden tells a personal anecdote.
Yep.
Any candidate mentions fake news.
Yeah.
I think that'll come from the Trump side.
Sure.
Biden references his age positively. There's nothing positive about either of these old men running for president. Nothing. If you don't know my stance on this, I don't believe anybody over the age of 75.
Term limits? Is that what you're saying?
Age limits.
No,
I'm all about the age limits when we get to 75 years old.
Yeah. I mean, we're clearly talking about the 2 presidential candidates right now, but term limits meaning what's the average age in Congress?
I love my father. He's 82, but I would not want him running my company if I had one.
No.
Okay? So no. 75, that's it. No one over 75 should be allowed to run for any high office within this country. Trump calls someone a loser. Biden says, "Here's the deal." That's a good one. Here's the deal. I like that one right there. Trump talks about the witch hunt. Okay, I'm sure that's got to do with all of his charges and convictions that he got. Trump talks about China.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
That might have been from season 2. I think we're on season 7 by this point, so I think that storyline passed away. The China stuff I don't think is as big from that side anymore.
I'm going to skip ahead to a few of these. Biden talks about Scranton. I didn't understand that one, but I guess he's from Scranton. That's where he's from.
Yeah, apparently, I don't know. I didn't know this either. I had to look it up. But apparently he's from Scranton, Pennsylvania. And so apparently he talks a lot in his anecdotes back when I was growing up in Scranton. So, yeah, that kind of thing.
This is a good one. Trump brags about crowd sizes.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
And let's see. Biden references Obama. I don't know that he'll do that. But that'll be an interesting one. I wouldn't that if there's anything I've read so far that I think might not happen, I don't know that he would reference Obama. But that's quite possible. One more here. Trump claims the debate is unfair. I think we'll hear that one.
We've already heard that quite a bit.
All right. So go ahead and watch tonight. If you want to talk about it tomorrow on a Friday, if you're still sober after these drinking games and bingos, we can more than
DK and I are planning on penciling in at least 2 hours of hot after debate
conversations. Exactly. For sure. Well, I may actually, I may cross some of these off as they happen, and we'll just come back tomorrow and say, okay, yeah, that did happen, this did happen, that did happen, that.
You don't have to drink yourself into a stupor. You could just kind of follow along.
Yeah. Well, when you got 2 guys over 75, you probably need to drink yourself into a stupor. All right. Don't drink and drive, though. And if you do, listen to Crickets. She'll get you home safely.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. Eastbound I-10 east of Congress, collision that occurred and some backups. Eastbound side of I-10 backups, approaching Miracle Mile to just as you pass Congress. Also some westbound I-10 slowing approaching Congress as well. Other collisions, Irvington at I-19, River Road in La Cañada, Flowing Wells in Miracle Mile, Drexel and Tucson Boulevard, also Nogales Highway south of Aero Park Boulevard. And for your weather, about 82 is the overnight low, 103 with a small chance of showers tomorrow, and about 103 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Get in the zone. AutoZone. It's time to red, white, and do that job you've been putting off with the AutoZone 4th of July sale. Save on brakes, oil, wash and wax, and more this weekend at AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Time for the hot weather polar bear promise. Alaskan AC arrives in 1 day or your repair is free.
Wait, say that again?
We arrive in 1 day or your repair is free?
Again, but longer on the A.
We arrive in 1 day
or your repair is free. Hear it?
No. Alaskan AC, service guarantee, we arrive in one day.
Or your repair is free. By George, he's got it. With the Alaskan AC service guarantee, we arrive in one day or your repair is free.
Are we really doing this?
That's awesome, Gary. With Alaskan AC service guarantee,
we arrive in one day or your repair is free.
We should probably
sing with us, William.
I would really rather.
Come on.
I don't want to.
Chicken bok bok.
Guys, no.
It's catchy.
Do it.
Sing out, Louise.
Fine.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
Whoa.
Whoa is right.
Can we get back to work now?
Schedule anytime at AlaskanAC.com.
Incredible.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Is Charlie Woods the most anticipated, follow in the footsteps child of an athletic Hall of Famer we've ever had? Bronny James, as good as he may be, still has to compete within the parameters of a team sport. Golf is individual. Dale Earnhardt Jr. came along just at the beginning of the social media era. I don't know that there's anybody else.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hi, you know me, Scott Lehman from ScottSaysYes.com. Check out this month's Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar powered by Premier Auto Center.
Visit the Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar at wildcatsradio1290.com to find out what community events are coming up in the Tucson area. You can also find Wildcats Radio 1290 events, upcoming sporting events, and more. Get the details and get involved with our community at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Go to ScottSaysYes.com today.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Have you been arrested for something you didn't do? When your liberty is on the line, you need an aggressive, experienced attorney to defend your rights. Lerner & Rowe Law Group is the firm you can trust with your freedom. Our criminal defense attorneys have represented thousands of clients across the state, and with our affordable payment plans, you can get the defense you need immediately. If you've been wrongly charged with a crime, time is not on your side. Call Lerner & Rowe today for a free consultation. We're available to help you 24/7.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Fun for the crew, fun for the family, fun for everyone. Dave & Buster's is the place to be for all things fun. With hundreds of awesome games, massive screens showing every single game, and their incredible menu of top-notch food and drinks. There's no better place to eat, drink, play, and watch than Dave & Buster's. Make Wednesday the highlight of your week at Dave & Buster's by experiencing half-price games on Wednesdays. That's right, every arcade game, half price. Dave & Buster's at Tucson Marketplace, your Wednesday game day viewing spot.
We're at the start of summer and the heat is here. Unfortunately, as some of you turn on your AC, you'll find nothing happens. It makes weird noises or just blows hot air. We hope it doesn't happen to you, but if it does, don't panic. Call Rightway and we'll get an expert out to your home.
And for a limited time, you can save 15% off any repairs. Call or text 520-385-7173 to book today or visit rightwayac.com. If it's worth doing, do it the right way.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Final stages of the program today. 520-848-1290 is your chance to get in on the program. You know, if you were listening in the last break, we had that promo I was telling you about Charlie Woods and Tiger Woods, and getting back to one of our conversations today about Bronny James getting drafted by the Lakers and now having a chance to play with his dad, and it kind of being very similar to the Griffey situation where Ken Griffey Jr. got a chance to play with his dad on that particular level, but completely flipped in that the son coming up was considered to be the can't-miss prospect. And we didn't really mention the fact that golf is professional golf is a sport where father and sons can potentially play together because of the length of time that a lot of golfers play, and we have had that done several times. And in fact, I remember I think a few years ago, it might have been back in I think 14 when Craig Stadler played with his son Kevin up at the Phoenix Open. So that's another sport where potentially you could get a father-son that would play together. Not a team sport, obviously, but still a professional opportunity where that could happen. And I don't know at this point. I'm sure because I'm sure at some point we might get a chance to see Tiger and Charlie play in the same tournament, just because, I mean, as a 14-time major champion, Tiger can play in majors till he doesn't want to, based on what all those years we saw Jack and all those guys.
Tiger's
play.
my age, give or take a year, so I mean he can't be more than 50. So he's like basically 15 years left, right? I mean, like, what's the age where they start? A lot of people start going to the older tour.
Well, see, and that's the thing. I mean, will we ever see Tiger play?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
But
I mean, when you're at that level, you don't. I don't think you go to the senior.
I think
tour
pride
play.
is with the thing. So it's like if you miss 7 cuts in a row, that's like at some point, you can't drag yourself around the course physically, or you're just not sharp enough to make, and you're just continuously. You want to live on some of that glory that you had being one of the greatest golfers of all time. But certainly, age-wise, that's definitely true. There's a lot of opportunity. I think some Olympics situations. There's some things like cricket, for instance. I've seen some older players as well. But yeah, golf definitely has to be the best opportunity for father and son to get on the course together.
And obviously, we saw it with NASCAR. With I believe both the Earnhardts drove in races together coming up too. And that was another person we mentioned in that promo. As being father-sons, but again, an individual sport versus a team sport, the same as the golf thing. But it's going to be fun. We'll watch and see kind of what happens with Bronny James and LeBron James. But it has happened today with the Lakers taking Bronny James in the second round.
Working at the depot that night.
Oh, when Dale Earnhardt died.
Yeah, when Dale Earnhardt.
I remember I was driving back to my mom's house in Cleveland from somewhere when I heard it come over the radio.
I was working, and I had a bunch of really, very passionate NASCAR fans come into the bar after watching the race at home, and all jubilant and excited and hadn't heard the news because what hadn't happened right away. So,
Yeah.
Sad night.
That was a sad day for sure. All right, let's give you your Desert Diamond Casino replay for today.
And now, the best thing you will hear all day.
Hachi-machi!
It's time for the Wildcat Radio Replay. In case you missed this earlier in the day, we now bring you the best of 1290. It's made possible by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
We were talking earlier today in the program about second-round picks who did make it and play long NBA careers. One of those guys was Steve Kerr, taken with the 50th overall pick. Was that the last pick at the time?
I think at the time, yeah. If memory serves, I think it was the last pick at the time,
Yeah, 50th pick by the Phoenix Suns in 1988. Just real quick before we get to Steve Kerr, we'll hear from him. Pelle Larsson today, the third Wildcat all-time, taken by the Miami Heat. The first two guys were taken in back-to-back years by the Miami Heat. Do you remember who those two gentlemen were?
I do not.
No. Ed Stokes in 1993, second round, 35th overall. Khalid Reeves, 1994, first round, 12th overall. Back-to-back years the
Not
Heat took
to get
in Arizona Wildcats.
too deep into that whole thing, but those are two of the what could have been guys in my memory of Arizona basketball.
Yeah.
Khalid was unstoppable, especially in his last year in college. And Ed Stokes was my dad's favorite player for a long time. And unfortunately had difficulty sometimes catching the ball. Post moves didn't really develop, but one of the best shot blockers Arizona ever saw.
Steve Kerr on Team USA today as they get ready to start preparing for the Olympics in Paris.
We're finally here, and my staff and I couldn't be more excited. Coach Spolstra and Coach Lou, Coach Few, Sean Ford, Grant Hill, and I have been in collaboration over the last couple of months since our respective seasons ended, and we've been talking about everything in preparation for the games, and we're finally here. So we're really excited to come to Vegas in a week. Coaches will be arriving the night of July 3rd. Players will be arriving July 5th. So the staff will have a couple of days of meetings before we begin our practices with the group. So couldn't be more excited. I've been reaching out to all the guys on the team. I've had discussions with a lot of them. Everybody's excited. What's not to be excited about? Not only the Olympic Games, the incredible competition, traveling, coming to Paris, as well as our friendlies in Abu Dhabi and London. Everyone is thrilled with what's ahead. Our roster is obviously laden with stars and players who have accomplished so much. And what I love about these guys is they want to accomplish more. They want to win an Olympic gold medal, and that's why why they all signed up for this. And we're well aware of the challenge we're facing. The world of basketball has gotten so much better, so much stronger. We know how good these teams are, and we know we're going to have to be at our best. So couldn't be more excited, and we'll see a lot of you along the way. And in the meantime, let's get started today.
As you mentioned there, you've got the friendlies are starting off, including your trip to London. What do you think as a team you're going to get out of that experience? And also, how important is it to play, in different cultures and different environments leading up to the Olympics?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously need as many friendlies as we can play to prepare. We've got about 4 or 5 days of practice in Las Vegas. We'll play Canada and head to Abu Dhabi for a couple games, and then on to London from there. So, this is a very unique experience. The NBA season is a marathon, and FIBA is really more of a sprint, especially for Team USA. We generally have a different team every summer, whereas a lot of the teams that we're playing against have the continuity that comes with having a very similar roster year after year. So our strength is the depth of talent that we have in this country. But one of the many challenges that we face in FIBA is that we have generally a brand new group year after year, and we have to try to mold the team quickly. So that comes both via practice, but also I think with travel, with bonding, with the experience of flying overseas and playing in different venues, different cultures. I think our team is very excited about the 2 games in London. I've got family there, so I can't wait to play there. I think everybody's really excited about not just the Olympics, but the lead up as well.
With Tyrese on the call, I take that as a good sign as far as how he's doing physically. Joel was at the finals and pronounced himself good to go. We haven't seen Kawhi play only but twice since the end of March. Can you kind of give an update on what he's told you as far as his availability level, and do you expect all 12 to be good to go next week?
Yeah, we expect everybody to be good to go. We've been in touch with everyone, not just those 3 guys. But Grant and Sean have been staying on top of everything. We've been in communication constantly. So we expect all 12 guys to be ready to roll.
That was the Wildcat Radio Replay with the best of the best from 1290. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, real quick here. We just got some news on the NBA front. The Suns have swapped another pick. They've swapped their second-round pick. It looks like they've acquired the draft rights to forward Oso Ighodaro, the 40th overall pick from the Knicks, in exchange for the rights to Kevin McCullough Jr., who was their 56th pick. And they also get Boston's 2028 protected second-round pick. So both rounds, the Suns swapped picks. They are a trading bunch over there.
This is why
sure.
most of us basketball fans just kind of wait for the smoke to clear to figure out where everybody's actually officially landed.
It's crazy. It's like they were like last night. I think they were drafting Darren Holmes, and they were talking about the pick's been traded.
Yeah,
right in the middle. He goes up there and he puts on a Suns hat. But that's not where he's going.
The worst though ever was, you remember? McHale. So McHale Bridges, who, congratulations for just getting traded to go play with your buddies from, Villanova.
That's right.
But he got drafted by the franchise his mother worked for and put the damn hat on, DK, before they're like, yeah, the 76ers don't want you. You're going to Phoenix. Like, that happened in real time. He was wearing the 76ers hat, his hometown, where he went to college and won 2 national championships, where his mom worked for the Sixers as he was being traded to the Suns. I mean, better for Suns fans because I love me some McHale Bridges. He's great.
And real quick, Team USA,
they
US
just
men's
lost to
national
Panama.
team.
Yeah, they just lost to Panama 2-1, which puts them 1-0-1 in Group C of Copa America. That's a lot of mediocrity. Uruguay, USA, and Panama are all tied with 3 points. Apparently, that game on Monday is going to be pretty big.
All right. Thank you, J.W. Madden. Thank you, Cricket. That is our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. My name is David Kelly. We'll talk to you tomorrow, 3 o'clock, right here, DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio, 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's your traffic on Wildcats Radio 1290. Eastbound side of I-10 backups approaching Miracle Mile to just east of Congress due to an earlier collision. Also crashes that are clearing First Avenue north of Roger Road. River and La Cañada, Flowing Wells and Miracle Mile, Drexel and Tucson Boulevard, also Nogales Highway south of Aero Park Boulevard. And for your weather, 82 is the low, 103. Tomorrow with a 15% chance of rain and about 102 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate. Why make things harder than they need to be? There's a better way to save time and money. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
Looking for a great deal on a new Blazer?